I remember somebody in my school said you get AIDS and you just your toe. Some kid was like, "No, you get AIDS in your big toe, dude." I'm like, you can
I
just
I
my
remember
toe?
someone in school that said you got AIDS from cereal boxes. Oh wait, that was Dr. Fauci. Sorry. Welcome back to Grand Theft World. Today we are joined by America's comedian, Emmy Award-winning writer, and
Yes.
fearless cultural critic. In the house with us is Kurt Metzger, also the host of the Derp with Kurt. Kurt, how the fuck you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm also a doula.
Rebbe Maimonides, Kurt Maimonides,
Yeah, Kurt Merkaba.
Kurt Merkaba is in the house.
Kurt
How you
de
doing?
Leon Merkaba. Hold on, I'm just getting a my Kabbalah background. Not
Well,
connected.
the Kabbalah background only works if you put the red bracelet on. If you get the red thread, then the
Um,
background works.
Hold on, let's see.
Now,
Um,
is Gene Simmons upset that you have his wig on tonight, or what's up?
that's anti-Semitic, and I will not. I'll be out of here if I hear any more anti-Semitism about my big.
Well, I thought KISS stood for Knights in Satan's Service, so I didn't think you could be
Do you
anti-Semitic
think
and a
it stood for
Satanist.
that? Do you think that I did stand for that? Because people used to say that when I was younger. My mom would not let me listen to Kiss because, she had taste.
I did not have the ability to verify such claims when I was in first grade hearing such things, so well played, touche.
I mean, really, he's gonna like Gene Simmons. Hold on, I almost got it. Gene Simmons is gonna like. How many women did he? It's
I
like a
mean, the rumor
Balaam.
was he had his tongue cut a bunch of times, so it would be elongated. That was another thing. There was also a
Ew.
couple. There was rumors about some other people back in the day. There
Okay.
was a Richard Gere rumor. There was some other. The rumors were a thing back then before the internet. There was no way to check them with facts.
Um. uh, well, yeah, that's true. I would just believe whatever. I remember somebody in my school said you get AIDS and you just your toe. Some kid was like, "No, you get AIDS in your big toe, dude." I'm like, you can
I
just
I
my
remember
toe?
someone in school that said you got AIDS from cereal boxes. Oh wait, that was Dr. Fauci. Sorry.
He said that really?
That was a thing. You get, I'm pretty sure there's an ad campaign from back in the 80s, and there was an association between people getting AIDS and like breakfast, touching stuff at breakfast, and Fauci was attached to it. I'm not sure if it was in a documentary that I saw.
Because I know
Um,
Fauci was like, maybe don't try to hug people because it could, you could die. And that's fair enough. I mean,
I mean, they threw the scare into a lot of people back then with their psyops. They have
yeah.
only evolved their technology, not their
Um,
methods so much.
do you think that they always had retrovirals when they released the HIV virus? Because Kathy O'Brien said they were taking stuff so they didn't have to wear condoms ever when they were having their weird sex parties. Have you ever heard that before?
I mean, I've heard it from Kathy O'Brien, but I'm not sure as to any other sources for that. But I was looking around for Behold the Pale Horse because one of the things that Bill Cooper did have in there was a document that showed that there was like a military project in the 1970s to develop something that looked very similar to AIDS. And there was claims being made that may have been substantiated in the past 25 years since Bill Cooper
Mm-hmm.
included such documents.
Quiet weapons for or silent weapons for quiet wars. That thing in the book. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's the one. There's also part of that book talked about Rothschilds converting energy into money. And it's like an energy management system that they use the
Uh,
currency for.
Dude, I
Yeah.
mean, so if that because there's supposedly a document like found in at Boeing or something in a printer.
Yeah, silent weapons for quiet war. There's several of those documents out there that seem to be like some of them are written as satire, you know, the report from Iron Mountain, which talks about like real things going on, but may not be the article and artifact that people present it as.
Really? So because it's so like dead accurate, and it's from a while ago.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure like if there's I'm pretty either
Like,
a
how is it
Corbett
so
report.
accurate if it's satire?
Let me see. I'm gonna go to Corbett report and type in Iron Mountain
Oh,
because I'm
Corbett will know.
pretty sure he
Yeah,
has
that's a
done.
Kabbalah background. Look at that. Look
It's
at
the same
that.
thing with like the Albert Pike letter or the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. It's like,
Well,
okay, they say they're
okay,
fabrications.
there's the Albert Pike letter. There's that one that's like the Illuminati letter,
Yeah.
right? There's also the protocols,
Mhm.
but the silent weapons for Quiet Wars one is a lot. Like I would assume it's some kind of satire, but look what's in it.
Oh, of course.
It's
Yeah.
more dead on now than any of them other ones. Those other ones are a little more vague than the ones than what's in that one. I was kind of shocked when I saw it because I didn't read it a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm looking on the so I'm looking at the results over here. Report Iron Mountain. It might have just taken it as a, let me just type in Iron Mountain.
Corbett's got some good reports, you know.
Because yeah, I'm pretty sure that he had covered this, I don't know, 15 years ago or something.
I mean, I can't believe how much this stuff is just in like Bill Cooper things. I wouldn't have thought that.
We need to get Corbett on Clip Genie, dude. Holy crap.
If he wants to be on Clip Genie, he can be on Clip Genie, right?
That's what I'm saying. I got to get him on, dude.
It was funny. Yeah, I saw you had Matt Errett. I was watching. Where the hell is it? Oh, here we go.
I don't know where the Bill Cooper book walked off to. I don't reference it very much because I don't take it as artifactual. Like, it's stories. But if you read those stories and then you find artifacts that match up to it, then it has some sort of veracity. But a lot of the claims in there are out of context. And
do you remember any that you think are kind of fishy claims?
What's that?
You remember what you think are fishy claims from it at all?
Well, just the observations on the Rothschilds, I don't think came from direct Rothschild papers. It's more of a esoteric understanding of how they're managing human capital and then articulate it. So it's useful if you match it up with the artifacts and evidence that say there's a real family with these things and this is like useful in understanding them, then that's fine, but it's not the proof.
You know, data harvesting via taxes, credit surveillance, and personal records, the primary input. Manufacturing consent, division. Let's see. Wait, there's another one that was more specific. Hold on.
Yeah, the Behold a Pale Horse is the first, when you first start looking outside the narrative, it's the book that your friends are like, look, if you buy that book, you're going to go on a list. Right. And it's like the only one thing that they sold in Barnes and Noble back then. It was like conspiracy or conspiratorial outside the official narrative.
And then he got killed right after
November 2001. Yeah.
Yeah. So he predicted 9/11 and died. Was that the deal?
Yes. Death by cop.
I mean, that's really, wow.
It's what they call ironic, don't you think? Now, the Pike paper, the World War III reference, I think that is made up of whole cloth. I don't know where it originates in the timeline of history.
Wait, which one is that?
Where Albert Pike is talking about World War III.
I think that's
World
not
War
real.
I and II. That's what I'm saying.
That's not real. Yeah.
So that's an example of a specious artifact that is passed around that if you offer that, you're immediately just going to be taken out. And there's lots of those little psyop traps. I think they might be created on purpose for well-meaning people.
That's what those protocols I thought was, and that's what the Illuminati one that reads like the Protocols of Zion. It reads just like it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what do they put a new one out every like 20 years or so? I just talked to Michael Hoffman on Dirt with Curb, and
do you have any of Hoffman's books?
Yeah, I got Twilight Language, but I let Duncan borrow it, and I need it back because I need to go back and look at the Rosicrucian part where they mapped out the thing they're doing now.
I have some Hoffman books. I was looking in the history blueprint. I only have Albert Hoffman in here, so I can't reference them.
He pointed out the thing about the. Okay, so I had this woman on that Sean Hazel hooked me up with, Deborah Jaffe, whose dad was Sam Jaffe, who was like an ABC reporter, and who's the guy? Something Powers. His spy plane got shot down over the Soviet Union. Remember that?
Francis Gary Powers, 1961.
Gary Powers.
U2 spy plane got shot down.
And her dad was a double agent or something, and probably a Manchurian candidate at the same time. Sam Jaffe. And Walter Cronkite had it in for him. It's a fucking crazy story. But I forgot why I brought it up because wait. There's a reason I brought this up. It wasn't just there was a very
well. You brought up the U2 spy plane and the shot down of Francis Gary Powers.
Before that,
Michael Hoffman
documents.
Okay. So she showed the picture of the three hobos arrested at the JFK assassination. E. Howard Hunt Which did they ever explain why a CIA guy is pretending to be a hobo? That's never been addressed because that's a very strange thing.
We'll have to
Oh,
ask
Michael
Chris
Hoffman
Milligan about
said
that.
it's psychodrama, and those are the three ruffians that, attack Hiram Abiff or something. They're doing psychodramas with these archetypes, and they always got to have those. And when I think of the three
Okay.
hobos, yeah.
So you're saying it's like a Masonic stage play, and the three hobos represent the guys who hit Hiram Abiff, and the
I
whole
think
Masonic.
that's who they're supposed to be, the unworthy.
Well, have you ever seen The Killing of the King?
Yeah, that's what he
Do
talks
you know
about.
what I'm talking? So like the whole Dealey Plaza is a Masonic. Like there's Masonic.
Yeah, he talks
statues
about
all
that.
over that thing. Ted Dealey of Dealey Plaza. He owned the newspaper that ran the JFK threat ad. I'm pretty sure that's Ted Dealey, who also owned the book Depository.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's Ted Dealey.
Wait,
right?
no, I thought they were the depository was owned by
moved-
Admiral Byrd's brother. Swear to
I'm not
God.
too sure about that, but
Our
I know they
journalists-
changed the parade route, and so they could get the Nightmare on Elm Street thing going. So he drives right past the kill box, and the Killing of the King Masonic ceremony had all. I mean, so this is like, I don't know what presentation I saw it in first, if it was Jordan Maxwell or who back in the day, but
Jordan Maxwell. Well, first of all, God showed his ass to Moses. I saw a pterodactyl once. What's Jordan Maxwell?
Jordan Maxwell is he's
takes
he's a place to start. He's a place to start. It's not like you take any presentation and take that for gospel. That's a place to start and start
I
looking.
mean, he'll
into
have
these
some
things.
real inaccuracies in there, and also he was hooked up with the Nation of Islam. Also, least like
Jordan Maxwell was.
Yeah.
Well, he's a Jehovah's Witness before, because his name was Russell Pine. And I know that because I tried to book airline tickets for him to go to Canada to Paul Burge's premiere party. And he's like, you can't book it under Jordan Maxwell. You have to book it under Russell Pine. And I was like, dude, this is where I get off the train. Like, I don't know. Who's got two passports? Anyway, Jordan didn't
there's
come
some
to that meeting,
fishy with it.
But OTO Freemasons came to that meeting and threatened us basically after
Why?
the premiere. They didn't like the Carlin clip that my buddy Paul put in his movie. Hijacking Humanity was a double disc DVD back in like 2006. And the whole Carlin clip we had in there about you have owners, you're not, they don't.
So they ran it on TV, didn't they? That bit.
Maybe on HBO, but like
That's
on one
thing.
level, these were just young dudes, and like they were Freemasonry guys that went into OTO. So they were sent out to like harass truthers as like shits and giggles. Yeah,
in person.
Yeah, this was at a premiere party. So Paul had the premiere at the Vancouver Science Center, is like a big auditorium, and then he had a party at his house, and then these dudes like came into the party, very intimidating, long black coats, talking about survival of the fittest, and this is how things are, and all sorts of nasty
Why
shit.
would they do something that crazy? That would not only verify.
Well, when they came in, they said, "Where is Jordan Maxwell here?" Because he was associated with the film, and these guys thought that he was going to be at the party.
He's some kind of spook or something. First of all, the amount of inaccurate shit he said is a lot. I mean, I started to notice it when I looked into this shit. Then, so Nation of Islam, they license Scientology from Scientology for the people in their thing to use. Did you know that?
No.
If you join the Nation of Islam, you're going to be.
Do you get your cube in with that bonus deal, package deal?
I have no idea. I think that Wallace Fard guy, the white one from, I think he got killed. I think Elijah Muhammad killed him and was like, oh, he went to heaven. And
what'd you say? He killed Malcolm X? I didn't hear you. What? I'm sorry.
I think he killed both of them. I think he killed.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Wallace Fard, the one that was white.
Well, he was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Elijah Muhammad, I think, killed Wallace Fard, the white one. Elijah Muhammad wasn't really white. He was the guy that learned from Wallace.
Okay,
Fard.
So Wallace Fard was the first guy, because I remember we just played
Wallace
the
Fard's
documentary
the first guy.
It's
It's like Syrian or something, or Lebanese or some shit.
Yeah,
nobody really knows, but he suddenly disappears. And then I just recently saw a thing where like Elijah Muhammad tells his son, "Yeah, he's gone, and he went to heaven." I'm like, he killed him. Come on, but anyway, they licensed Scientology. I found this out from AA Ron from the Seawork channel when he's on my show. So that's very odd because Will Smith, there's that weird Scientology Philly connection. That's the Hoodlum Mosque is in Philly. Then Jordan Maxwell is very popular with Farrakhan. And when you read that Bannon book that Heather Lynn told me to read about by Teitelbaum, I forget his first name, but it's called I don't know. Teitelbaum's the author. It's the best book about Bannon. These guys are all game master, dungeon master magicians. All of them. They're all trading their systems of control with each other. All of them. And the Jehovah's, Jordan Maxwell. You know, when I had Blair White on, Blair White Russell, who went to school in a goddamn Black Pyramid in Northern California. There's a left-hand path of Jehovah's Witnesses are like real fucked up Rosicrucians, like the real bad kind. And they live in, what did she say? Census designated.
Who funded Jehovah's Witnesses? Charles Taze Russell? Who was it?
Yeah, but Charles Taze Russell, we didn't worship. It wasn't like he was Joseph Smith or L. Ron Hubbard does, you know, when I was in it. We didn't call him a prophet or some shit. In fact, they kind of were like, well, he got some stuff right, but he was wrong about a lot. But the light keeps getting brighter as we near end times. So you have an out, you know, and they can adjust it. And so Rutherford took over after that. Judge Rutherford. I don't know what his deal is at all. There's probably something interesting there. But he, you know, there's always a guy who comes in later and takes over there's like the Roy Kroc and the McDonald's brother, you know. Everybody tries to be Jesus, but I'm thinking, how about I come in as Paul? You know, I go, hey, look, I just showed up late to the game. Now I'm in charge.
Yeah, but Paul is dead, and that's why he has bare feet when he's crossing Abbey Road.
No, not that Paul.
Oh, different one?
You're not talking about
You're talking about the ones from the Bible?
Yeah.
The Bible, the Beatles. I get them mixed up, dude.
Why would you get them mixed up? They're not nowhere near each other. I mean, that's just nonsense talk. Do you believe the Billy Shears talk, though?
I don't know who Billy Shears is. What are you talking
about? The guy who replaced Paul.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know. I'm familiar with the conspiracy theory, but I'm not sure that is really.
Well, I'll tell you one that I don't believe whatsoever. It was just on Sean Atwood. Was a guy talking about how they think Michael Jackson is really Dave. You know, Dave. So that burn face guy that was on Larry King. And, okay. Do you remember that guy from when you were a kid? Because I do. They made a TV movie about it. His real name's something Jewish. His dad lit him on fire.
Well, I mean, I remember Michael Jackson filmed a Pepsi commercial. They set him on fire, and then they got him hooked to painkillers and took him to the bank.
But
then he bought the Beatles catalog, and then Tony Mottola didn't like that, and some other people didn't like that. And he said, they don't really care about you. Then they killed that man. And Rabbi Shmuley was there.
But he's the great, the Hoggle from Labyrinth was there. But there's a guy named Dave, this burn face guy that was friends, and people think that's Michael Jackson, but it's not. That kid changed his last name to his own first name. I mean, he got a burn face. What are you gonna do, man? Cut him slack. Anyway, I remember the story of him. I remember him as a kid because I was really haunted as a kid seeing that somebody's dad lit them on fire. So I know that's a separate guy, but like nobody seems to remember that, and they'll push this weird shit that there's really a burn face Michael Jackson who's still alive out there. No, it's this kid. Also, I heard Michael Jackson, the Jehovah, his dad was into some occult shit. And Jay Parker talks about them dumping that black oil or whatever in your ear. And bandmates of Joe Jackson talk about witnessing him doing that to Michael Jackson, pouring some kind of weird shit into his. I don't know what the fuck it is.
I think Diddy was the second generation of the Clyde.
Diddy was used as a living altar, which is
the Quincy Jones. Barry Gordy.
Yeah, his mom was some kind of voodoo bitch and tried to de-gay him with incest. And they imply it in Netflix thing, if you're paying attention. They totally imply his mom tried to like straighten him out with some incest, I guess, because he was a little bit of a, he didn't have a dad. He seemed a little bit acey-deucey,
I didn't catch that Netflix thing. Hey, is this the
50 Cent one?
Is this the same? Oh, sorry. Damn, I'm hitting the wrong buttons tonight. Is this the same Michael Hoffman that you interviewed?
Michael L. Hoffman, I interviewed, yeah. And that's a picture of Duncan Trussell, I believe, right there in the middle. That's my partner, Duncan Trussell from Mystery Boys. And Michael blew the lid off that one. Yeah, he took a lot of heat that, he's anti-Semitic, but no, he's not.
Yeah, this is from 2008. Yeah, it's interesting because it goes into the non-biblical history. So a lot of the Kabbalah and mysticism and these sort of things. But, I mean, it's a... Damn it. That's like the fourth time I hit the wrong button. It's a huge book. I mean, it does that when you drop it.
Yeah, well, have you studied Judaism? Kabbalah is kind of a heresy. It's not really like my buddy Ari Shafir went to yeshiva school and they didn't believe in Kabbalah, so it's not ubiquitous. Now there's the Torah where it's like, the Babylonian Talmud is the oral Torah, which I mean, what? Like the oral law and the written law. Why would that be a thing? Just logically speaking, the reason you write a law down.
Esoteric and exoteric.
Yeah, the
Jesuits,
reason you write,
esoteric, Catholics, exoteric. There's many of those type of structures. In fact, it's that Loyola system that was copied by Cecil Rhodes to do the things. That's why he said he wanted to use Loyola's system for how to
I was
subvert.
watching your thing today or yesterday in the car, and on the way to while I was driving, I was watching a video of it. No,
that's always safe to watch a Rothschild video while you're driving, because you don't have to watch; you just listen.
My car speeds out of control. But yeah, so what if they want an Anglican version of Jesuits? I thought they already had that though. I thought they already had that though, kind of with the Freemasons.
In what form?
Just Freemasonry, right? Hadn't
But
King Henry
Moses
brought in?
Hess, 1861 says they're going to use their means to infiltrate the Freemasonic lodges of Europe and diffuse the historical cults into one for the purposes of creating state of Israel in Palestine.
This is Cecil Rhodes.
This is Moses Hess, 40 years before Cecil Rhodes passed away. So Moses Hess, I should put it on the book cam, right? I'm just like talking to Kurt like we're on the phone. Here we go. Boom. All right. Moses Hess, the revival of Israel, Roman Jerusalem, the last nationalist question. Jay Dyer's talked about this a lot recently. So thankfully somebody else who knows how to read is getting into it. And you don't know about this book? I thought that I sent you this book.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm going to check my list, dude. Not right now, but that's on my list of to-dos for tomorrow. Let me put some glasses on because otherwise
my
I can't
book pile and recheck, but I feel like I would have seen that.
Okay, well, if you don't have it, I'm sending
master like myself.
If you don't have it, you're going to have it by the end of this week, because this is let me just zoom this up so I can get it. I don't have a book cam producer, and every book's a little bit different where you got to film it. All right. Jewish nationalism. So this is what they're interested. This is page 95, Roman Jerusalem. So they're talking about Jewish nationalism, and then they start to codify a plan. And let's see. In Jewry, as well as in the entire world, there are to be discovered at present two main tendencies which, though diametrically opposed to each other, still originate from the same source, namely the need for objective religious reforms and the inability to create them. So then they're talking about nihilism, and they're talking about this guy called Hirsch, who's a rabbi in Frankfurt. So now that you read more into the book, you go up to the next pages. They're talking about rebuilding the temple in Jerusalem. Okay.
So wait, well, is this because the temple's destroyed, so there's no remission for sin? Because if you're Christian, you have Jesus, so you don't have to sacrifice a goat or swing a chicken or whatever.
Yeah, this is all Titus's fault.
This is whose fault?
Titus, the Arch of Titus. Like Titus was the one that crushed the last temple, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Pretty sure they're not fans of Titus.
So I don't remember. I thought Jesus said it's going to be destroyed. So I don't know why a Christian would give a shit about it. But that's what all that red heifer shit is, right? They gotta have. I don't know what happens first. The red heifer you sacrifice, and then there's channels that come on my feed of like Prophecy Watcher, like they got a red heifer, and they have these kids whose feet have never touched the ground. They're in like these huts on stilts. It sounds fucking crazy, is what it sounds like, and they're going to do the ceremony of the red heifer.
Well, they're going to do the ceremony of the red heifer. That's like one of the last things that they want to do. So let me get your quotes for you. They strive after a fusion of all historical cults into one for the rebuilding of the Temple of Jerusalem. More reasonable are the attempts of those fusionists who, like my friend Hirsch of Luxembourg, are utilizing Freemasonry as a means to amalgamate all the historical cults into one. This is 1861, 1862.
Why would a rabbi want to do that?
It's interesting, right?
It seems like, yeah.
developed the idea of fusion so thoroughly in his excellent lectures, which he delivered at the Luxembourg Lodge, and later published under the title "Humanity as a Religion." Right. So they're talking about that, using those Freemasonic lodges, and then they're talking about bringing the Jews out of dispersion for a Jewish state in Palestine, and when they go on to the guy who wrote
this is before the Holocaust.
100
hold on a minute, this happened way before the Holocaust.
So Moses Hess is the father of utopian socialism.
Oh, the best guy.
He's a nationalist. He's a national socialist.
Oh,
do you understand?
The two great tastes that taste great together. Now, isn't National Socialism kind of just racial socialism, which would make sense since he's a rabbi? Talmudically, that would make sense.
The thought which inspired the nervous Mendel Wilna and little Moishe has been the fundamental thought of all pious Jews from the time of the destruction of Jerusalem until the present day. And there are such Jews, let it not worry, Mr. Compert, even among the Rothschild brothers.
Right.
Oh, so interesting. Because the Rothschilds start colonizing within 10 years of this book.
Because it wasn't Herzl or somebody telling him, look, you don't want all these Lithuanians coming over here and cocking up your English things. Send them over there to the cannon fodder lands, right?
You can't have people that just live in a place without, I don't know, dragging 3,000 years of history around all the time, because that's what this is. So you're talking about bringing Jews from all over the world, granted a tract of land free of rent for a time until they are able to pay the company for a fixed amount of rent. So they're talking about a situation ongoing. And then over here, they're talking more about Jewish nationalism. So he's a utopian socialist who's into Jewish nationalism. That's still National Socialism.
So he's a humanist or something, right? And so what is this, like a techno state?
It's like a techno state driven from an, as he terms it, an ancient Jewish cult. And over here on page 177 is kind of
is Judaism itself called the ancient Jewish cult, or is he in something?
No, that's what he's saying. This is his quotes. So check this out. On the other hand, Occidental Judaism is surrounded. So he was talking about Oriental Judaism. Now he's talking about Occidental, East and West. On the other hand, Occidental Judaism is surrounded by an almost indissoluble crust, composed of the dead residue of the first manifestation of the modern spirit from the inorganic chalk deposit of an extinct rationalistic enlightenment. This crust will not be melted by the fire of Jewish patriotism. In other words, they can't get their nation state just because they want it. It can only be broken by an external pressure under the weight of which everything which has no future must give up its existence. And then it says down here.
What are they going to do, a burnt offering, you might call it?
The hard covering that surrounds the hearts of our culture.
So that's why they need a nice burnt offering of, I don't know, how many would you say would be enough?
A blow from without, like outside their group. Yeah. One that world events are currently
the ultimate
preparing.
false flag, if you will. But not that the people don't get killed. They're the burnt offering, right? A Moloch sacrifice, if you will.
The ones that don't qualify. That world events are already preparing and which will probably fall in the near future.
So is this that Wolfson? Did that Wolfson fucker actually give a number of, I want to say about 6 million? Didn't he actually give a number before that of 6 million, Wolfson, with the 2 Fs?
I'm not sure, but
the guy that took over after Herzl. Theodore Herzl, and I was watching this guy on Odyssey, some Jewish guy who used to be a reporter for Variety, had learned all this. It was great watching. He's like, you think I want to be saying these things? I don't want to say this. This is what happened. And he goes, he found, his mother told him Theodore Herzl worked himself to death for the Jews. He just got really tired or something. He's probably poisoned by Wolfson, who took over. And then that guy is the one that gave the speech about, a certain number that,
Well, by the time they get, so Herzl is, he comes in the late 1800s, like 30 years after Moses Hess wrote the blueprint.
I think he was a chump too. I think he's a chump, that guy.
Yeah. He's like a Schofield in this situation.
Yeah, I think
and Schofield made a Talmud for the Bible for Christians.
Oh,
Talmud
that's
for
the
Christians.
Schofield Talmud Bible. Yeah.
So
Yeah, right.
Herzl
That's
comes
right.
up with this. So by the time Herzl formulates Zionism, Rothschilds are already in Palestine since 1829, according to a newspaper we're going to see from Dan Dix later, and it's in its artifactual form. But
Mhm.
also in the 1880s, Rothschilds and early colonization of Palestine by Hebrew University Ran Aronson talks about colonization. So this is all going on before Herzl even formulates the
Mhm.
strategy of Zionism, takes the Star of Remphan, makes that their flag, which becomes the Israeli state flag. And then Chaim Weizmann comes along later, like 1920,
Is it
and
always called
he
the Star of Remphan? I've heard people saying, no, it's not that,
no,
but
it's a seal of Solomon.
yeah, so I assume that's the Star of Remphan, and that's why they stoned that guy Stephen, right? And Saul's holding the coats, and then later he's like, I shouldn't have done that. Well, so
It's hard to
anyway,
tell because they also stoned an American teenager from Florida last year while his cousin was also being held in an Israeli prison being tortured. They
why?
stoned Saif because he's a kid from Florida. There's a bunch of cousins from Florida. The oldest one, Saif, Saif was his name. He went out, so they started an ice cream shop, dude. And it
Yeah.
became really successful. And they're working around the clock. And after a year, some of the kids wanted time off to go back and see family. So the uncle came in, worked shifts, and the kids would go back and see family. One went back and got accused of throwing rocks, which he
Mm,
wasn't, but they put him in an adult prison for 9 months. And
mm,
then while he was in there, his cousin went to defend his father's property. They had olive trees, and they heard Israeli settlers were
mm.
stealing the property. So this naive American kid thinks he can just go defend his dad's property, and he got death by stoning
I bet.
by Israeli settlers.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, you distracted me when you said stoning. You think of the Bible thousands of
Well,
years ago. That's a thing and a punishment,
I
but
mean,
it still
it's
goes on today.
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's directly relevant to what we're talking about. Is why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I guess it's
Hmm.
still directly relevant. Is the reason I brought it up. But okay, so I never that Remphan thing. That's why they got mad and stoned Stephen in that scripture. Is because he said you worship. So I don't know why I had never heard of Remphan that much. Maybe the translation I read didn't say it that way, but
It
I
is
know
totally possible that the Jehovah's Witnesses have a different translation of Bible, right?
the New World Translation is theirs, and I don't know what they translate Remphan as, but anyway, so I thought is it Czechoslovakia or something? It's like the king of something Akia gave that as their flag or their mark, right? The Seal of Solomon. It comes from like the 1400s or 1600s when it pops up as like this is a Jewish symbol. And they
Well, I
start
wouldn't
calling.
think it pops up in Western culture until the Crusades, because I think that's when Templars got in contact with esoteric information that gave them a great amount of power to come back and assert themselves over the monarchies, which made the monarchies try to kill them all off on Friday the 13th. I think they became possessors of esoteric information that had
Mm-hmm.
been lost. And when they recovered some sort of thing, it gave them the power to lend money at interest and whatever
Yeah,
else they
wait,
were
wait, wait,
doing
wait,
back
wait.
then.
But there's a specific king that was like, "This is your official symbol," and they're like, "Yeah, cool." And I can't remember what country it was.
Well, let me see if I can
Um,
get. Let me see if I have Remphan over here. See if we can dig in. REM. No, not Michael Stike. No, I don't have Remphan. So let's go fishing. Let's go to the browser. Let's bring up Star of
oh,
Remphan.
Bohemia. It was Charles the Four, and he authorized the city to use. Okay, so it's Prague. Oh, Czechoslovakia. Okay, so Bohemia is what it is. And it was the first. This event is historically recognized as the first time the symbol was officially adopted to represent a Jewish community. So it's from the Bohemian Jewish community that this Holy Roman Emperor said, "You use this as your symbol now."
Okay, so I did this search and it's going all Jordan Maxwell on us. Check this out. I said Star of Remphan Jewish Encyclopedia because it's not about what do we think of it. What did they write about Star of
Right.
Remphan? The Jewish Encyclopedia identifies the Star of Remphan as a reference to the planet Saturn.
Yeah.
Jordan
Right.
Maxwell has said that for 50 years, noting that the Hebrew term Kayun, translated as Remphan in the Septuagint in Acts 7:43, chapter 7, verse 43.
Well, yeah, he's not
Uh,
wrong about that. The thing he was wrong
right.
about is Dagon being a fish god. No, he's not. That's from H.P. Lovecraft. He's like a grain god.
Regarding the hexagram, often conflated with the Star of David, the encyclopedia notes it was known to the ancient Egyptians and star worshiping groups, but it does not attribute the symbol to King David or state that it originally represented the Jewish people.
But it
So,
obviously doesn't. I mean, it's like, first of all, the Seal of Solomon, I know, like, this is what I don't get about all these, like, Masonic things where they go, oh, it's like the Temple of Solomon, and we love fucking Solomon. Solomon ends up as a bad guy that sacrifices his kid to Moloch. Like, that's not a good, he's not like a good guy. At the end of the day, he was a piece of shit. So, very strange to act like we want his hidden wisdom that specifically led to a problem. What happened? You looking for
yeah, I have a Seal of Solomon.
You have a Star
book
of
on-
Epstein?
I got a bunch of Freemasonry books down there, but I couldn't find the Seal of Solomon one. But yeah, it gets into esoteric magic, which goes back over to Kabbalah, which is not the front operating system of a movement, but it might have. Let me type it in over here.
I mean, all that shit's some overlay to compartmentalize your brain, basically, right? I mean, that's really all.
Yeah,
these
but this
things
is an essence of the Babylonian mysteries, a lot of the Hermetic traditions, Egyptian mysteries, a lot of these various mystery schools played into what is here, and vice versa. Like you'd have no Freemasonry without Kabbalah.
Right.
Right.
They all love
Freemasonry is the exoteric version of the esoteric Kabbalah that Freemasons never get access to.
Right.
They're like kept outside on the porch, but there are deep mysteries under that. Rosicrucians, there's a whole bunch of different groups that have had access to these things. And it goes back to, like, you know, the Pythagoreans. In fact, if you go back to
Gnostic Neil showed me that Disney cartoon.
Albert Pike.
Yeah.
Right here, dude. Watch. Here's Morals and Dogma with the Rothschild eagle on the front. No, I'm just kidding.
What is that eagle, though?
It's very similar, but we don't want to conflate. All right, so if we go to the back of this book and read the secret of the Royal Sublime Prince, it's going to tell you it's
Tristan Tate, the Sublime Prince.
Look, he talks about the Illuminati. There's a whole bunch of
who does? Oh yeah, what
there.
does he say about it
Pike.
though? Can I see?
Well, he's let's see. Let me put it over so I can read. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. All right. It was the remembrance of this scientific and religious absolute of this doctrine that is summed up in a word of this word in fine and alternately lost and found again, that was transmitted to the elect of all the ancient initiations. And then he talks about the order of the Templars. It became the secret for all secret associations of the Rose Cross. Those are the Rosicrucians that Nick Hayes and Corbett were talking about, of the Illuminati, of the Hermetic Freemasons, right? And so there is a part here. There's a lot of tabs in here. So let me see.
I think that Dissipation of the Darkness book is true. I'm going to tell you, I think it's true, because even I wouldn't have thought it was true, but every time I look at this, I think that book is right.
Quite possibly.
Well, because it has the 9 in it, dude. I can't get over that.
So he's talking about the absolute deity with the Kabbalists has no name, and he's talking about
Ein Sof. Oh yeah, Ein Sopel. Look how it says it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have like the Samael, the blind god. These motherfuckers.
Right. So Samael, that's part of the Clipperoth, the reverse of the tree of life. There's a
They're
tree
such
of death.
assholes. I mean, anybody who like really believes in shit, the complete asshole. You really
what do they call it? The Sephiroth and the Cliffoth, the tree of death.
Clipote?
Yeah, Clipote.
Sephiroth and the Clipote.
Clipote.
Yeah, the Clipote's the fucking tree of death. And then
oh, look, there's the Illuminati. Pretty interesting, right?
Wait, what is that connected to? It's hard to.
Well, it was connected because that's the side that they're practicing in their esoteric philosophy. And
is Clipote really?
That's what. That. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what I was just reading from Pike about the initiations of those secret societies. Is that left-hand path?
Yeah, well,
but I'm trying to find the royal secret of the Sublime Prince, because it'll tell you it's the 3-4-5 Pythagorean triangle, and it's how they use the Trivium, the classical Trivium, to control the masses. And
Right.
for the masses to actually get in touch with how to use that for themselves, it would make them impervious to indoctrination. And I must
Wait,
have taken.
why
Oh, here
would
it
it
is.
make
Here
you
it is. Here it is.
impervious?
Look, because you have the ability to reason and find out what's real instead of having to depend on people's words.
I'm
The
a busy
sublime
man.
prince of the royal secret, the master of royal secret, and I'm pretty sure it's after page 839.
Ooh.
There was that part we just read from, and it's talking about the Kabbalistic tradition. So let me just get to.
Who is the Sublime Prince? I don't even know. Lucy?
I think there is a quote in here to that effect.
Or is it, what is it,
Well,
Zabulon?
they're presenting Lucifer as knowledge in these interpretations,
Yeah.
right? But I'm looking to see.
Is it Hillel Ben Shahar?
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here we go. All right.
Okay.
One of these symbols found in the tracing board of the apprentice's degree teaches this last lesson of Freemasonry. It is the right-angled triangle representing a man as a union of the spiritual and material, of the divine and human. The base measured by the number 3. The number of the triangle represents the deity and the divine. The perpendicular measured by the number 4. The number of the square. So it's the trivium and quadrivium. The 3 and the 4 represents the earth, the material, and the 5 represents your 5 senses. It represents the earth, the material, and the human, and the hypotenuse measured by 5 represents that nature is which is produced by the union of the divine and the human, the soul and the body. The squares 9 and 16 of the base and the perpendicular added together, producing 25. The square root whereof is 5, the measure of the hypotenuse.
Oh my dear God! It's like teriology.
And it just says, such, my brother, is the true word of a master mason, the true royal secret. And it's like, amen. So this is the end of the story, right? So I take that as like, that's the point of what they're doing. Like,
the point is to make me really bored with mathematics. It's not my strong suit. I'm a Kabbalist, not a mathbalist.
The quadrivium is number in space, time, measure, these various things you take action to create in space time, right? Artifacts, evidence, things that exist. So that's the quadrivium. The trivium is the esoteric input, processing, output, the grammar, the logic, the rhetoric, the how it goes together, remove the contradictions, and then how to use and troubleshoot the device. So it's the essence of how to learn anything and the origin of true education. And then they created an indoctrination for everyone else, so you don't know the difference.
So these are all like mnemonic things. That's all it is mnemonic program, right? Like
it's people using words to control people for thousands of years.
Yeah,
because not enough people learn enough words to free all the people, or to let them free themselves.
Can't argue results. Yeah, well, I write TV programs to program people, and then.
Hey, dude, you are you ready to talk about your new series yet?
Oh, the Cutout, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so. I'm chilling in my workshop the other day. I texted something to Kurt, and the next thing you know, like my phone's going ding, 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 ding.
Dailies.
So Kurt sent me like 10 dailies, and so I put them on the big screen in the workshop. I'm like, Lisa, come here. Kurt's got a new show. So it's got Brian Cowan.
Some of them
it's got Ryan Long. Yeah. Do we have? I don't know. Well, I mean, I could maybe
show some, but not. I don't want to show the ending of it, but.
I don't even have my phone here. It's in the workshop.
Well,
but I will show them after you leave. I'll show some clips. You don't want me to show the crescendo. Do me show the Jimmy boardroom scene?
No, because
okay.
Wait, which one is that? Is that where he's hugging the guy?
How about we go back to the first 2 clips?
Yeah.
Easter egg joke.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I gave you so anyway. I'll find not the end of the clips to share with you guys.
It should be pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. But it's about there's this real woman that is anti-drug war from Mississippi who does like TED Talks about it. Her name is Christina Dent, and she was like some conservative foster mom in Mississippi, and then from being a foster mom discovered that the drug war was in fact not helping the children, and so she turned on that, and she's for like legalization. So. Anyway, they wanted a comedy about it at Emergent Order, which is like, they're paying for submissions. So I just wanted to submit and get the money, I didn't think they were going to buy it and I have to do it. But they bought it. But anyway, they want a comedy. None of that's funny. I mean, it's kind of a remedial argument, isn't it? I agree with her. I'm all on her side, but like, I'm not from Mississippi, sweetie. I get it. So I was like I'm going to make it about the people that would be against her argument. So it's Jimmy Dore's Jeff Boyardee, this billionaire.
Jeff Boyardee.
Yeah, not the casino, not Chef Boyardee. That's a comedy.
I don't think I got that enunciation when I read it in text, but hearing it, it sounds a lot funnier because it's like
Jeff Boyardee is he has a casino in supplements and prison supplies business.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there's a very minor decriminalization of some cannabis flower vote fictitiously in Texas, in Austin, that they are trying to stop. And they are trying to. Whoa! Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Shut up!
Siri just broke into the Grand Theft World podcast.
Anyway, fuck you, Siri. Fuck your voice.
Chef Boyardee is going to show up by the case at Kurt's house.
So he has a cutout called Blip. It's called Blip, Benchmark Legislative something, whatever.
And that's like The Office.
Yeah, that's like The Office. But
all right, so instead of the paper
Ralph
company,
Nader, when
Dunder Mifflin,
it's
called Blip.
They're called Blip, and then Beverly Dennis is played by Brian Callen. That's my Steve Carell is Brian. Trust me, it's the best casting I've ever done. And then Ryan Long is this hapless dude that works there, and Chloe LeBranch is her name is spelled like Django, but it's Jennifer with a D, DeJennifer Garner, and she's people. I think she got hired because they think she was black when they read the name, but they were surprised she wasn't. And then Paul Skuderwitz is like the nerd one, and then Aaron Berg plays Nico Palmer. It was originally Christian Sidehug was his name, but they didn't want too many silly names. I can't get enough of them myself. Anyway, now his name's Nico Palmer. Aaron Berg's hilarious as the Navy SEAL guy. He's like the B.A. Baracus.
That guy, yeah. I think that he definitely differentiated them because I'm familiar with all the other comedians too. And I've never seen the guy before, and he just has that kill you at 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, he's just got this dry stare, and he's smaller than all of them. It's the funniest fucking thing. He's at the table like this, and it's great. Anyway, it came out funnier than I thought it would. A lot funnier. So we're still editing it, but it'll be on YouTube. And then,
all right, so who filmed it? So when you come up with a creative idea, who did?
Emergent Order. They bought it, and then I wrote the script, and they filmed it.
Okay, cool. So explain that process from like there's an opportunity and you're going to take a stab at it. So you try something and it goes through a couple drafts, and then somebody says, we're going to make this thing. And you're like, yay.
I said in one pitch, I did one pitch and got my money, and then they bought it. And then I was like, all right. And so I had to keep writing and revising it. It's a real hassle. Here's the process. I want to do podcasts and not work. I don't want to do my job, but I have to do it if they buy it, and I can't like not do it. So it came out really good for something that I really didn't want to do, is what I'm saying. I really did not want to sell a fucking show. Let me tell you something. Fuck TV, dude. Okay? I don't know why people, you watch shows anymore? I have to with my girlfriend, but I don't give a fuck about them. I don't have any attention span. I can't sit through a fucking story like that. I got a couple of movies I could watch, but very few. I get bored very quickly with them. It's all lost its luster to me ever since I started really studying Kabbalah. This fucking Kabbalah hat's too hot. Hold on. It's way too hot.
He's a professional writer. I don't think a lot of people get that they think he just shows up on Jimmy Dore and he says funny stuff and like people make a living like that. But behind the scenes, like he writes a lot of jokes for a lot of people. And when he gets back from removing his rabbi hat, which I don't think I've qualified him to wear. I don't think I've promoted him yet to wear a rabbi hat. Scott, what's your thoughts so far?
Well, it's always an entertaining ride. I never know, like you never know which direction it's going to veer off into, and so it's just
one of my favorite comments is Kurt was on with Jason Burmis, and Burmis had brought a piece of evidence that he was really keen on showing to Kurt, and the whole time he was just trying to like work it in so he could like, hey, I want to show you this. And somebody in the chat was like, it's so cute, it's so endearing how Jason like keeps trying to like rope Kurt into like being able to see that clip. But Kurt's like a bull in a china shop. He's like the old Merrill Lynch commercial. from back in the day.
I want to
think
know.
it was Merrill Lynch.
I want to know if Kurt knows about Waynel Sexton. If
I don't
not, that
know.
has to be in his repertoire.
I was going to say, if he doesn't, well, I mean, the comedic value, I guess, of such things might be a thing. But from my perspective, a lot of people can't control what they're named.
I know, but
So I have a policy. I don't feel right making fun of somebody unless they had a decision in the process of the thing I'm making fun of.
Well, my thesis is that this is a fake person. This isn't a real person. The whole story is. You really think that somebody saved George Floyd's second grade homework for 30 years? The whole story is preposterous. That's the whole point why I feel comfortable making fun of it, because I think the whole thing from top to bottom is completely fake, dude.
Yeah, but the part you're making fun of is her name.
I get it.
Yeah,
Okay, well, how about this?
Okay.
Okay, Blue Origin.
It would still be funny if her name wasn't Waynel Sexton.
It would, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the
Go to Clip Genie and search Waynel Sexton.
Waynel Sexton, exactly. Well, how about this? You know about Blue Origin, right? Like the Blue Origin, it's like the one with the mushroom head. You know what I'm saying? The rocket company.
Yeah,
right?
Bezos's compensation rocket.
Yeah,
which he's now getting compensated for from insurance companies.
Yeah. Do you know who the CEO of Blue Origin is?
Negatory.
Okay, his name is Dave Limp. Okay, you can't make that up.
At least his name wasn't Richard Limp.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying, man. It's like sometimes with the names.
Although he could get a contract with like Viagra and then legally change his name to like Dick Hard, and then that would be like a before and after. They would use that in pharmaceutical marketing, and that's why I don't work for them, because I'd be coming up with ideas for them to be successful instead of coming up with ideas for you to be successful.
Oh,
speaking of successful, Kurt's still got his Pride Month hat on.
This is my American Pride hat. This is my hat to show pride and a little thing called America, and of course Kabbalah.
How was your Independence Day, Kurt?
Sorry, I went to Tim Butterly's house. You know Butterly? He's he's one of the Philly dudes. He's friends with Shane and them. Funny dude.
Yeah, I stay away from Philly dudes because I'm from Pittsburgh. And
I forgot about that.
We've always had a rivalry with such people.
Yeah, I bet.
Not the smartest. They're not the smartest hockey fans, for instance. They got the Flyers over there.
Wait, who's Pittsburgh have? Who's
Pittsburgh? We got the Penguins, we got the Steelers, we got the Pirates.
Oh, you got the Penguins, that's right.
Until I found out like mass murderers were running the world, I used to watch sports back in the day. And I was like, there's probably better things to do with my brain than remember sports stats. I should probably focus on these people who are winning on the field.
Yeah, well, I'm just fascinated by the whole. I had this dude on who was in jail with R. Kelly. Ronnie Bo, his name was. And I was saying something about Tupac being gay. And he was like, I don't think Tupac was gay. And he was like, I could tell it upset him. But he was trying to be like not upset about it. Like he was like,
did you tell him that Tupac thought Tupac was gay?
No, I put it to him like this, dude. They put you in your little Saturn box and then they dangle hope. You know what? You got one. It's like you're in a box with one little beam of eye hole. And then they get to pick whoever is the thing you look up to because they already took everything else. You destroy your family, you fucking all that shit that black people said the government did. The government did to them. It's like a fact. So then they could get some gay guy who was an operative within that Shakur, Tupac Amaru, fucking. By the way, middle name Amaru. Do you know that shit?
Well, his mom was a Black Panther, so I think.
The CIA thing was bullshit out of the gate. There's always criminals and bullshit. I mean, everything has been CIA bullshit.
I mean, Fred Hampton didn't think it was bullshit. They shot him in the back.
Yeah, he thought it wasn't bullshit. And if you're not bullshit, you get shot. That's what happens.
Many such cases, yes. Or they'll Steve Biko you.
Or they'll Steve Biko you. That's exactly right. Well, I had Michael L. Hoffman on, and he turned me around on Thomas Jefferson, who I had a dim view of. I thought Thomas Jefferson was some dipshit occultist, but he said no.
Did he write like a psychological manipulation book? Because I do have a Michael F. Hoffman book. I have another Michael Hoffman book that's not the Judaism Discovered.
No, the Twilight Language is the one that comes after the one about King Kill 33. Twilight Language was great.
I didn't get that one.
Okay, get that one, dude. I'm telling you, that one, Now Matt Ehret and his wife have done all the research on this Rosy Cross shit, where they're like, "Oh, we have to be bad so that the good people can feel good." And so that was the thing. J.R. Sweet says that his dipshit family, oh, his uncle Gail Pooley, who hangs out with Jordan Peterson, it turns out. That's cool. But Gail Pooley, the CIA serial killing pederast piece of shit, who's doing TED Talks now about abundance, Mormon fuck.
Promoting the False Memory Syndrome Foundation.
Is he?
I
I'm
don't
sure
know. I was
he
just
must
making
be
a joke because you got to
Oh,
make
it's-
MKUltra jokes at every opportunity in my book.
Have you watched the hearings of them?
Yes. You want to talk about them?
Yeah. Why is
Let's talk about the 3 congressional all-stars who did all the questioning. Did you notice something in similar that they all had in common?
they were in MKUltra? I don't
Well,
know.
I was going to say, yeah, possibly. It's Anna Paulina Luna,
Yeah.
Bobert, and Nancy Mace.
They're all the
Right?
most.
If you took a picture,
Massey
like, there's
fucked all of
500
them. I'm joking.
There's
Okay.
500 people. There's 500 people in Congress. There's only a couple that are presentable for the camera. They put those 3 in front of the camera, and they're like, "Talk about MK Ultra. Everybody's going to watch this." I just thought it was a little suspect. I think it's suspect.
It is suspect.
Anna Paul Luna is in charge of the MK Ultra, the JFK, and the alien stuff. Really, dude? Really? I think you expect people to be distracted by her looks and not the words paid attention to.
I don't understand what this shit is, where they're like, the politicians are getting hotter and then the actors are uglier. It's really fucking weird. But MK Ultra in particular one, do you think it had something to do with so Tulsi Gabbard? I mean, I knew about that dumb cult she's in, the yoga cult, for a while. It's a Hare Krishna splinter group. My cousins, by the way, my uncle Bill's like the lawyer for Hare Krishnas, like the lawyer of them, Bill Ogle. I think it's like from the Oglethorpes, the Ogles and the Thorpes, you know, and from Tennessee. And so this is a splinter group. And I've been hearing about this for a while with Tulsi Gabbard, because I assume she was in some kind of, you know, they're always got some cult background with these programming things. And then all of a sudden she's like in trouble for having some files. And then Luna's doing this hearing. So is that connected? What's the deal with that?
I don't think the 2 are connected, because those trials are usually scheduled a long time. Like the hearing was scheduled a long time before that. What I thought was interesting is that the 2 guys that they had there providing evidence aren't guys who provide evidence. They're authors who collect
I know the guy,
evidence.
Tom.
Yeah, Tom O'Neill, and then the other guy was Stephen
He's
Kinzer.
friends with with Fitzsimmons, and we did Duncan's at Skankfest. In fact, I'll send you the clip, dude, because it's kind of funny. At Skankfest, we did.
Oh, wait, I do have notes.
We talked to him about Charles, you know, because he was with that Bugliosi guy, like studying that for 20 years. And I was like, oh, this guy knows a lot of stuff that he's not saying, like, you know.
All right, so if you got a few minutes, I'll do it live with you. I got my notes. I found my notes from the MK Ultra conference. So okay, so they check. So here's MK Ultra, and the first thing they talked about was Artichoke. So I'm gonna go to Operation Artichoke.
That's the one Juliet Engel brought up when she came on Jimmy. That's because your brain looks like an artichoke when you split it open.
Yeah, so after Project Bluebird, they did Project Artichoke, which was the Army version. And you can learn about this in The Minds of Men by Aaron and Melissa Dykes, Truth Stream Media. We played their clip earlier tonight, the death of 4th of July and freedom. And that movie series, which is 3 hours long, talks about all these things. Now, I made a movie with my buddies, State of Mind and Psychology of Control. It's 90 minutes, talks about the same things, but they have so much more better artifacts and evidence. So I consider their movie to be superior to that. But they also, beyond Artichoke, talked about, they didn't mention it by name, and it's called Pont-Saint-Esprit. Do you know about that?
Nope. What is that?
I'm gonna have to look it up because I didn't put in the history blueprint. Okay, so Pont-Saint-Esprit is a French town in like the 1950s, and they dosed the entire town with LSD, and then kind of said, "Oh, it came from the bread." But if you look into
said it was ergot poisoning. Oh wow!
Yeah, they said these people just randomly bumped into the Ellisonian mysteries, and you know, the CIA and lysergic acid being on the scene, and Albert Hoffman and all these other things. Don't weigh those. Just look at this story that doesn't connect to anything going on.
Well, you should watch that Shrek fuck talk about Manson, Nicholas Shrek, the one that was married to Taylor Swift LaVey.
Oh, right. I thought you were talking
got one
about
ear.
Don McPhee.
No,
But
not the Green Beret. I know
All
everybody
right.
made a big deal that he like beat up a wife or something, but I mean, do you think Spec Ops guys aren't violent psychopaths? They're in Spec Ops. Like, what do you think they do? They're fucking murderers. They probably come home and they're all fucked up in the head. I'm guessing.
Here, I've got the details. It's 1951, so I was close. It's called the Pont-Saint-Esprit mass poisoning. In 1951, Pont-Saint-Esprit mass poisoning, known in French as Le Pont Maudit, took place in August 1951 in the small town of Pont-Saint-Esprit in southern France. More than 250 people were involved, including 50 people interned in asylums, and there were 7 deaths. A foodborne illness was suspected. Among those, it originally believed it was a case of cursed bread.
A
Majority of academic
deal.
sources, yeah, so they call it ergot poisoning, right? And they don't want to talk about anything with MKUltra or the CIA doing experimentations or learning from such things and saying, hey, that's a good idea. Let's dose America. So
Yeah,
whether
well, dude, we played a clip of it on Jimmy's show where they were talking about there was some doctor next to Tom O'Neill, and he was saying about like how they would do things to hopefully inspire another shooter. So they're doing things that cause other people to maybe pop off and be shooters. And I take exception to that because no, all of them have a handler. These are important operations when they do these. They're not just leaving it. No, I'm sure there could be some randoms they leave it to, but none of the ones this doctor was saying, which is what made me suspicious. Nah, motherfucker, those guys had handlers. Thomas Crooks, for example, his parents are behavioral modification therapists. So they're guilty. I don't need nothing else but that. The Sandy Hook kid, Adam Lanza, someone posted, he had a YouTube channel. You ever hear his YouTubes? Well, his therapist, he was in a special Yale program. That's one of the best programs. It worked so well, he killed 27 kids. That's how great the Yale therapy is. But his therapist, that he had until he was 15, from like 12 to 15, went to prison for raping a young girl who was in his care. So that's why you see he's like, it's a curse to bring kids into the world. That kid was a pedo because he'd been molested. He caught the real easy as soon as you hear him talk, and this absolute like misanthropy. He's like, why is anybody being born? It's you're just a slave. And then you realize he destroyed his hard drive before he did the crime. So what do you think was on the hard drive? A Yale therapist. Also, his dad's connected to some Lieber financial thing with General Electric, and the Joker killer's dad as well around the same time. That guy's dad is a CIA. That guy was a CIA therapist too. James Holmes.
Yeah,
Same
yep. And then Pizzagate comment, if you just shoot the hard drive and destroys all the evidence, I heard.
And then that's stupid.
But then that guy got death by cop. He got Bill Cooper.
He got a short term by Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who went on to the Supreme Court. She sentenced him. Judge, I don't know what a woman is, Jackson. And then, he went in, the cameras were turned around, and he shot a hard drive. You know how pizza places have a hard drive?
Yeah, you just know where the random closet with the hard drive is, and you go in and shoot it.
Dude, it makes me, I frankly chimp out when people try to pull that shit that it's not a big deal what's in the Epstein files. Like Gavin McInnes. Now, I know him for a while. Fuck him, first of all. What a piece of shit he is. But he's doing the Schellenberger Taibbi move. Because I think that motherfucker took a special rebel news trip to Israel, and then he had the nerve to go, well, you're just being low IQ. That fucking nitwit. And first of all, okay, you invent Vice magazine, a CIA cutout. That could happen to anybody, one CIA cutout.
Well, I think it was an MI6 CIA joint operation.
Of course it is.
To be fair.
Yeah, because he's a monarchist fuck from Canada. But then you invent the Proud Boys, another CIA cutout. How the fuck you invent 2 of them and then go on to not think there's anything to the Epstein files? That don't add up.
He can't do math. He's not.
Hey, get the fuck out of my country, motherfucker. I want him deported. I mean, he's a real feisty little Scotch bitch. If he'll jump in my face if I see him, and I'll stomp him into grease if he does. I don't think he'd have the balls.
Look, dude, he might. His mustache wax is going to be a sponsor on your podcast.
I would slap the mustache off of that fucking punk in a heartbeat, and I hope that he gets in my face over it. If you excuse that, the Epstein thing, you're the biggest piece of shit in the world. Honest to God, like Emergent Order, where I did my that pilot I made, they just interviewed Schellenberger, and you already know what team that guy's on. That fucking animal. Are you at least happy that Avi Loeb's going to be in charge of UFOs down at the old Trump administration? I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of things right away.
I think, he's probably got the strongest connections with the aliens.
Yeah, he does, because his grandpa, he's a descendant of Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Haredim. So yeah, he does.
So that hearing, they talked about MKUltra, MK Naomi, which was the army version. I think I said Artichoke. I'm sorry, Artichoke.
What about Monarch? That didn't come up, did it?
No, and they didn't bring up Ted Kaczynski, because that ties in LSD, MKUltra, and the Unabomber all in one. But they didn't mention any of that during that hearing, and I was like, oh, I don't know. You don't have to be deep into the information to figure that one out. So I thought that was interesting that it wasn't in there. Then that lady from the NIH was there. Did you see that?
Yes.
That was hilarious. They're like, what are you even doing here? She's like, her wanting funding for the NIH was hilarious. And they all just called her out on it so readily. And I thought that was very American.
Yeah, all these
few people.
Dude, these hearings they have, because we cover them on Jimmy's show a lot. And after like 2 years we're covering these, I'm like, because we're like, oh, look at so-and-so slams this one. But I'm like, is something going to happen? No. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, what a pageant. They're always bullshit. Nothing comes out of them. What comes out of them? They're having a hearing to see if we have another hearing, basically, right?
They're having a hearing to see if you figured out what, like, George Hunter White and Sidney Gottlieb and Jolly and West, and their role in history really is.
Do the Skankfest hearings with Tom O'Neill? I just sent you the video of it, a clip from the Skankfest hearings with Tom O'Neill, which were way more informative than that. In fact, I can't wait to see Tom O'Neill again. He was a little cagey, because I bring this shit up a lot. In fact, I blurt it out to everyone I meet, if I'm being honest. Eric Weinstein, I brought it up to.
Yeah, what did Eric say?
He goes, and Duncan was sitting right there, because we went to go see him talk to nerds at the University of Texas. And I had like fans there in the nerdiest fucking particle, super low temperature. I don't know if they're doing what the fuck they're doing, but they only focus on their specialty, and they will not connect any dots outside their specialty. I mean, you are never allowed to do that. And then I said something.
Certainty. They have certainty in their PhD pyramid, and they have uncertainty everywhere else. And everyone has a PhD pyramid, and none of those tops of the pyramids connect. And so you have
when an authority comes and tells them to assemble, right? You focus on your thing. And then I realized, why can't I be that authority? So that's why I formed Turning Point Sam Tripoli, the think tank. And I got Heather Lynn and Matt Ehret and Nosik Neal in there. And Tripoli's finally been allowed in. And Sean Patrick has it. Because I'm like, oh, they're all smart, these people. Why don't I assemble them and have them look at things? And it's like a grok that's not lying to me. It's very easy to do.
Well, most people don't realize they're being lied to by most of the AIs. Because if you don't know how to find truth in the first place, it's a real handicap.
Yeah, I always tell people, don't worry about the AI. Don't get upset. You assholes didn't know it was real in the first place. Oh, how will we know it's real? You never knew it's real, you dumb fucking. Go eat your slop, you fat fucks. That's what I say to America.
The royal secret of the Sublime Prince. Apparently.
Here's the real secret of the Sublime Prince. Suck my dick, America.
Well, I thought that's how you become president. That's the secret. That's what you had to do to become president. That's the whole.
Oh man, the last Mystery Boys got real weird because they left a puppet on the floor and Duncan found it and it got real. Then at the end of the podcast, it had like lipstick all over it, smeared on his face, and like we were telling it it's going to be president just to calm down, and it got crazy. That podcast, Mystery Boys, was real weird.
Oh, I'm seeing. I texted you about the MKUltra hearing earlier this week because I sent you. So they got an hour and 12 minutes. They were talking about the foundations and the CIA and then the tax exempt foundations and their role. And they did have a role in MKUltra. And they were talking about cutouts, which was the name of your series. And I was like, hey, they're using your lingo in here.
Well, I learned it from Max Blumenthal and Aaron Monte. I didn't know what a cutout was.
Oh, did you hear Gad Sad on Piers talking shit on Gabor Mate last week? I have the clip for later tonight.
On Gabor Mate, really? What was he saying?
Yeah, dude. Can I play it?
I'll just play Sad Gad.
mean, Gad
Oh my
goes out of his
God.
way to insult Gabor and question whether he's like a Holocaust survivor. Like he just went way, way out of his
So he
way.
works for someone, right?
And he
Clearly.
refuses. Yeah, he does. He does. And he refused to debate Gabor. But I think how it unfolds, I didn't see the whole thing, but Piers had Gad on. Gad says all the fucked up things, but I think Gabor's sitting there on the line the whole time. And then Piers brings him in and he's like, game on. And the title of the clip
Not
is,
Aramate, Gabor Mate.
yeah,
That's a
Aaron's
crazy
dad.
one. The guy
Aaron's
who wrote
dad.
the book on addiction.
Right. Genius level reptile is what Gad Sad calls Gabor Mate, a genius level reptile.
Well,
You know what kind of insult that is?
Yeah, like, I mean, look, like I said, I make a distinction between Jews and Zionists. And Gabor Mate, by the way, is correct in his Israel positions, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Bad Hasbar, the channel, is his other kid. Like, Aaron, I know. I don't know. I think it's
Yeah,
gotta be-
they
That's where I learned about the sperm recovery, Ashkenazi. They're like
Yeah,
40K out. Yeah.
I've played their clips on the show before. The other one is the general's son. Do you know it's a brother sister team. They're also Jewish Israeli anti-Zionist.
Who's that? General's son. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look it. I'll look it up because
You know,
I've had
October
too
7th
much-
is great. That's when they put a bunch of like liberal raver Israelis that probably don't vote Likud right next to the concentration camp for a rave and said, stand down. I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious if you're not an idiot. If
All
you're
right,
not
I got
sad
this.
dad.
I got some Gad Sad here that is queued up. Most replayed. All right, I'm gonna give it to you, Colby. I'm gonna give you a little time clip queued up, and
You up, Gad sad. Where the hell did he come from?
I don't know where he came from. I mean, I only knew about him because he was on Rogan like 10 years ago, and you couldn't see his perspective because 10-7 hadn't happened yet. But 10-7 really polarized the two sides, so you could see distinctly who's on which side.
No, it was the death of
Gad-
Woke. Woke died October 7th, and I called it October 7th because that's when your Sarah Silver persons were like, wait, but I supported BLM. Like, bitch, they told you they like Hamas. I mean, they were very forthcoming about it, even though I don't think they
Well-
even did give any money to Hamas, honestly. I think that
Sarah Silver person also used to go around saying things like, if you talk about George Soros, it's anti-Semitic, but Israel and Soros, don't get along very well historically.
Soros doesn't like Israel, and also he collected Jew shit during the Holocaust. He's not the best. I don't think that's the hill you want to die on. Yo, listen, I know Sarah, she's very nice, but she's from Vermont, okay? And she told me, she goes, being a good Jew meant being a good Democrat. So that means her family are Satan worshipers, is what that means. They're not any kind of Torah Jews. They're probably Frankist. Vermont,
Well,
these Jews, those are probably Frankist, I would guess. I mean, I don't know if people think that Rob Reiner didn't molest his kid, but I'll bet you money he did.
I mean, those things have gone on in Hollywood for a long time.
The whole
There's
town's built on it. The whole town. The whole fucking town. And the shit I've heard about people now at this point from just being the amount of showbiz I'm in, which is not that big in it, okay? But far enough to hear all kinds of fucked up shit where I'm like, what the? Sean Penn, wow, what a doozy he is.
Do you remember the roast? There was a roast of Bruce Willis, and Kevin Pollak was at the at the podium, and he made fun of Joseph Gordon-Levitt because Joseph Gordon-Levitt's parents worked in Hollywood and pimped him out, and let adults
That's always
touch
the
his pee-pee.
joke.
And then because of that joke, that whole thing got deep sixed because people started noticing that Hollywood was talking openly about abusing
I
their
didn't
own.
know that was a that he said that about Joseph Gordon-Levitt because I've only heard the repeats about Rob Reiner, but that's real weird, man. That's real fucking weird, ain't it? Al Franken.
Well, okay, so I, as a viewer, I don't know any of these people, but Kevin Pollak is saying this about Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I know Kevin Pollak from where? Grumpy Old Men and The Usual
Grumpy Old Men.
Suspects. The Usual Suspects. And in The Usual Suspects, what role is Bryan Singer playing in this Hollywood thing that goes on?
Oh,
because
yep.
he's kind of like James Gunn that makes the Guardians of the Galaxy type
Okay.
penchants.
So you know, Brock Pierce from the first kid with Sinbad. He was in
No.
that house with Paul something Rector. So Brian Singer, Mark Paul Rector, who looks like
Oh, Mark Paul Gosselaar
no
from
Rector
Silver
is last name.
Spoons. Okay.
No. He was partners with Brian Singer on a thing. It was some house. It was like an influencer house of boys way before this was a thing. Den, DEN was their company.
Hmm.
And so that's where all the molestations and stuff and all that weird shit was happening. Brad Renfro. Who else? Anyway, there's a guy named Brock Pierce who's a crypto scumbag now, who is part of that house. He seemed to be a victim to me. But you know the golden calf Trump statue in Miami? That Shabbos Goy black pastor was like, oh, this is a King Cyrus, whatever the fuck they were doing. We covered on Jimmy's show. I didn't know this at the time. But that's a Brock Pierce thing because he's pumping his shitty crypto, just like Chud the Builder was trying to pump his crypto with his little stunt. Chud the Builder's like into trans hookers and shit. Like it's so funny. Half these things, there's a crypto motive behind them. And crypto, I don't know why. Well, I guess I do know why. It's probably in the world of trafficking, prostitution, trafficking kids. I bet it comes in real handy, don't it?
I mean, they seem to have done it for centuries. You know, if there's when
Temple prostitute coin.
Well, like I was just getting into learning about, I didn't grow up Catholic and I wasn't aware of the abuses that went on and that sort of stuff. And I grew up Protestant and we don't have confession and, you know, we're not left alone with strange people and all this sort of stuff like that. So we were visiting the guys who made Loose Change. This is like 2006 and we drive up to, we went up to Burmis and Corey and Dylan's place and Oneonta. And Burmis, the first thing he's saying, he's like, dude, the Catholic Church is a bunch of baby rapists. And I was like, dude, where, you know, and I'd heard a little bit and then he had heard a little bit and then putting two and two together and getting like, oh, they're all baby rapists. And right then they put Ratzinger in, who had just covered up all the pedophilia to become Pope. And you're getting to see it's not like a holy see after all.
And then he quit. And he was like, I got to quit now. No reason. It's unheard of, but I got to do it right now. Me and these files got to go somewhere, never to be heard from again.
Yeah, I think it's a little, you know, it's a little strange that dudes wear dresses and they're not allowed to get married. But I also think it's not too far from that those kids are getting abused. And like,
I don't trust them because they wear a yarmulke, those popes.
Well,
I don't like how he wears that little white kippah.
He's got the kippah, you know. He's got.
Golden Maxwell says they have hats like a fish because of Dagon.
Yeah,
that's not a fish hat. That's nonsense talk. But I'll bet he's plugged into something weird too because he pushed a lot of fucking, you know, Nordics and fucking a lot of shit that jives with the Nation of Islam, except theirs it's all black. And there's this other weird thing with the Anglo-Israelites, which is where the Darby and all them are coming out of that tradition.
Yeah, because British means people of the covenant, and that's where the British Israel World Federation was a thing up until the Balfour Declaration. Then they didn't need that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And then, so there's a weird connection with all of that because everybody thinks they're like the Jew. I mean, I guess Jews are just a two-tribe kingdom, like Judah, as in Judaism. So where'd the rest of them go? Israel, you know, that's what Scottish say they're that. You know, they're supposedly Scottish or what?
Well, I'm confused about the translation.
Dan, the tribe of Dan.
You know, you had Abram, and he's doing a deal with God, and God's like, hey, I don't have the property on me today, but I'm going to pay you in the future. Like he's Wimpy from Popeye, right? A hamburger today to pay you tomorrow, that type of thing. So they cut a land deal. And then God says to Abram, your progeny will inherit this. And that progeny is all the monotheistic religions, Islam, Christianity, Judaism. So I don't understand this Israel-Palestine conflict.
Because
who promised them land other than Balfour?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a rabbinic tradition. That's what you're not understanding. The rabbinical tradition. Richard. Think of the tradition. What do you call it?
Is the tradition in the room with us right now?
Yeah, probably recording this exact Zoom call. Just being geofence at the very least. Yeah. So I didn't know this, but like a bunch of like kind of Reform Jew Zionists don't like Jeremiah. Did you know that?
No.
Because Jeremiah was the one that was like, yo, the covenant, if you break the covenant, motherfuckers, God kicks you the fuck out. That's what he told you. And you then doing it wrong. You keep sacrificing your kids to Moloch. Moloch's Nimrod, I guess. Did you know that?
Molech, I think, translates back to something like king or
But it's
authority.
Nimrod's the guy that fucking they're doing. Nimrod, Apollo, dude. All these creeps in these religions. When there's an eclipse, they go fishing it's like a fishing hole to them, and they get some kid that's born on an eclipse because that's a hermetic miniature version of an eclipse to them. You know how this goofy shit works? It's all sympathetic magic, like poking a voodoo doll. So you're born on an eclipse, right? Not you, but whatever. You're born on an eclipse. Like, ooh, that's like your hermetic, the hologram
fingerprint.
Yeah, so I can use you in my weirdo ceremony from the Dresden Codex. That's what Gray was telling me. That would happen with him, because he used to be a Jehovah too, Gray Area Monarch. But he was in the other Jehovah Witness part that I didn't know about. That just like the Mormons got another part that they don't know about, but it's a Freemasonic based religion. So of course there's another part. Of course there's another fucking part. So the right-hand path Mormons are like retards. They're like, they'll be simple and sweet. And then the fucking left-hand path ones straight up worship the devil and hang out with reptoids. They straight up are into that shit.
One of the first Mormon whistleblowers of that ilk was Bill Schneblin, who I think is still out there. You ever check out his work?
I want to have him on my show. Dude, one of the funniest comments I ever saw under a video of him, he goes, bro said yes to every side quest. Like in fucking Skyrim, he joined the Brotherhood and the other one, and he did every side quest. But I've checked his information, not the information of like his personal record, but the stuff he says about that when he's talking about it. A bunch of it's very accurate.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like,
and you don't know that until you get enough information you can cross-reference. Like you don't know what Kay Griggs is talking about for 6 hours is real until you start cross-referencing, and you're like, wait.
You know why I thought hers was real right away? Is because I thought she put it the best way about all the people leading the country. She goes, I don't know if she's like Presbylutheran or whatever Simpson's denomination, but she goes, I thought the leaders of the country are Christians. Like, no, they're all German existentialists. That sums it up. A bunch of German existentialists. Is there anything lower? Is there anything fucking lower than a German existentialist? I doubt it.
And didn't she talk about her husband as a cherry Marine who was recruited out of the dining clubs of Princeton?
The eating clubs, yeah.
The eating clubs. That's what they call them, eating clubs.
I mean, every part of it's so gross. She talks about Kissinger being a rapist of boys from Vietnam. She talks
Heinz
about that.
Kissinger. Heinz, yeah, because she knew him as Heinz. And that's a thing.
Ew, Heinz. What I want to know about, because I had Daryl James of Secret Space Program veteran on the Mystery Boys, and he don't sound like he's lying to me, but I don't know that he went to Mars or some shit. I mean, obviously they can put whatever in your head. He's one of them 20 and back people. Now you know Ari Shafir.
Oh yeah,
Ari did salvia once and had a 20-year separate lifetime where he was married with kids. He'll tell you all about it. He lived 20 years in a totally alternate universe with a wife because he did salvia. You ever hear people talk about this? Or sometimes you become a lamp in a room for 20 years or a ceiling fan, and it sucks ass. And people talk about it all the time. So there's a drug that can cause 20 and backisms, right? So we know they got underground bases. We know Disney is involved. I'll bet there's a whole amusement park down there that they could put somebody through to make their mind believe whatever the fuck they want. I bet there is.
I wanted to let you know you can no longer talk about this as conspiracy since you were just bringing up.
I already said on Jimmy's show. I already fucking said this on Jimmy's show. The thing formerly called Jewish space lasers. Well, that's what I called the Star Wars series. Jewish space lasers.
Didn't I send you the Michael Rothschild book?
Who's that Rothschild? That weird albino. He's a real Palm Beach Pete of Rothschild, isn't he?
Yeah, he's from Chicago. But yeah, this was very disappointed. Former co-host Tony Myers sent this to me, and he said, I mean, the irony. I was like, yeah, dude.
I thought they weren't supposed to weaponize space. Why isn't Mel Brooks the end of...
Reagan popularized it with Star Wars right after George Lucas made a movie called Star Wars.
Which I call Jewish space lasers. Now, wait. The fucking... Star Wars, that's what Paul Bonacci said was all underground. He said they had fake alien shit that they were doing to him. Because all the stories, by the way, that you get from these 20 and back, they're all straight out of that Bob Barr book. They're all like space sex slavery. And Daryl James' story is being used as a breeding stud by 20 different kinds of things. They're always like a porno and a Star Trek. Always. I think those things, I don't think there's, I think they're undead.
Well, Gene Roddenberry is Freemason.
Yeah, of course.
Captain Kirk. Kirk is Scottish for church. I mean, that was all Jordan Maxwell spiel back in the day, right?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that, but I knew about Gene Roddenberry. I think Captain Kirk killed his wife at this point, and I think
because the church is commander of the Enterprise, and that's like the metaphor they're building out as they conquer.
Dude, I wanted to make a sketch of it like a Star Trek. You know, they have the prime directives to not fuck around with the species.
Yeah.
Right on the planet. And I was like, so they're like, remember the prime directive. And then like the second they teleport down, like the first officer just starts talking to the aliens about Jesus too much. He just ignores it. Like a Mormon. He goes, have you heard about, I just made it so funny to me, like a Star Trek thing where one of them just will not stop evangelizing aliens about Jesus. Anyway, yeah, Star Trek, The Nine, that Gene Roddenberry was channeling The Nine. By the time Motion Picture came out, he was doing that. And he wasn't the only one at those channeling sessions, because Peter Levenda was saying the names. The Astors are there.
Yeah, do you have Levenda's trilogy? The it's called the
Yeah, I think that guy sacrificed his fucking daughter, by the way. That motherfucker that wrote that. You know that?
Who, Levenda?
No, he's a homo. No, he's gay. The Discordia guy.
Oh,
Robert Anton Wilson, the chapter about his daughter dying, I think he sacrificed. I just got that impression reading the book. It came off like a Tears in Heaven from Eric, the guy from Cream whose son fell out the window. It just came
Eric
off
Clapton.
like, it just came off very, Eric Clapton came off more like it was an accident than how, when I read this motherfucker's hanging out with Uri Geller and shit. And they're talking about how they talk to some hawk spirit. Like, motherfucker.
Well, that's all Philip K. Dick in that era too. He was talking to like
Valis.
Well, but that ties back to Uri Geller.
Yeah, Uri Geller's
I'm pretty sure.
And
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Michael Jackson was late to his wedding, and his handler Shmuley couldn't get him there. But Rabbi Shmuley, what a great man, what a handsome man.
We played part of his podcast last week.
How was
the Shmuley Cast? Well, it only had 126 views when I saw it, so I wanted to help him promote his podcast because his word needs to get out there.
I think it's
so people have comparison and contrast.
I think it's anti-Semitic to promote his face. It's like that one settler who was like at the woman.
I saw that was like one of the last things you published on Twitter. Did you get banned for that?
No, I just was like where he was like sad because Trump made a peace treaty. I did a who wore it best with the guy from Goof Troop that he looks like. With his stupid fucking payas. Like little goofy ears. Yeah. What? Please let this guy had a lot of gums. Small teeth, big gums. That was a big, a great feature on him. Yeah, dude. I think all them people. Gene Hackman. You know Gene Hackman, the weirdness of his house.
Yeah.
And he was mentioned, Gene Hackman, and I still remember this because on that show Coach with Craig T. Nelson, Jerry Van Dyke played the Sandusky coach, right, on Coach. And the blonde guy played the big retard. And then his daughter became a porn star. It's very unusual for somebody, Kelly Van Dyke. And so that was a current affair talk about how she became a porn star. Then claimed that her father had been pimping her out, and Gene Hackman would come over. Yeah. Sounds like the joke Al Franken was making about Carl Reiner and Rob Reiner. And it would come up a lot. And I already know shit about Sean Penn that is.
And Carl Reiner was on the Dick Van Dyke show, so I'm putting that together. I'm old enough to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it sounds like they were doing all these people. Like, Hollywood is such a.
And there are those videos of Carl Reiner and Rob Reiner kissing, right?
Yeah,
just like the Dalai Lama kissing a little boy.
I said this to Eric Weinstein. He goes, "Well, that's like an old like Lithuanian Jewish tradition." I go, "Oh, is it? They're just really observant? Was that it?" Is that it? The secret of Rob Reiner, he was just super observant. No, he wasn't. And also, I always said, Eric, don't bring that up because Israel's got his back against the wall. We don't need this father-son tradition coming up. Let's just keep that under our hats and worry about getting us off planet. Oh, so here's what he said to me when we were after we went to the nerd thing. I brought up because Sacha Baron Cohen, we did like an Epstein operation on a guy with a yacht salesman. Okay, where Sacha's a billionaire doing weird, sexy things while it sounded like Eric Weinstein's story. So I was eager to like, dude, do you realize like when you're telling your story, it sounds, and he wasn't that into talking about it. And he goes, I told Peter he was a construct the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, dude, do you think this is the hubris of him? I'm like, do you think Peters didn't know that? Do you think the billionaire that's paying you doesn't know exactly what he is? And he's just an innocent billionaire walking in. You don't need some creep ass shit. Like, this is what I don't get. And then he goes, do you think Epstein was like a major thing? I'm like, no, he's like a node in another. He goes, that's right. If the whole thing came out, it would end the world. That's how he put it. And I went, oh no. The fuck are you talking about, dude? Oh, the pedocracy might end. I go, I'm starting a new podcast called Could You Hear Yourself? I'd like to invite you to be my first guest on Can You Fucking Hear Yourself? Yeah, what a shame. Boy, you sound Catholic as fuck. I thought you were Jewish, man. You sound like a fucking Boston dipshit Catholic right now. Like a real Beantown bar mitzvah motherfucker. That's when you get molested by a priest. It's called the Beantown bar mitzvah. Every Boston Irish boy must go through it.
Well, I think it was Jim Garrison who said, let the truth reign, though the heavens fall.
Yo, if the truth is like a weapon that harms you, good. What is everybody talking about? If telling the truth harms you, I hope it harms you. You know? Like,
well, I think.
Why would you hide something like this? What is so precious you're saving?
I think they enforce it with the Samson option. And going back to what you said about Kissinger.
Yeah.
I think it was Jonathan Pollard who tells the story, but 6 days war led to Yom Kippur War in 1973. Kissinger and Nixon are about to withhold weapons from Israel. And then Israel calls, they threatened and said, hey, check out, put your satellite on this runway and check out the armaments on this plane. And they see that there's a nuke on there. And then Kissinger opens up and sends them more arms. So even Kissinger at that point, Kissinger is Nelson's guy and Brzezinski is David's guy. They're both Rockefeller Twin Towers guys. Right. So whether it's right policy or left policy, Yeah,
the Twix brothers over there with their, well, so that's what, because Kissinger's some kind of, he's in the Order of St. Michael or something. He's in like weird groups and
they found him while they were filtering Nazis back in the day. They found him at Camp Ash Can and Dustbin days. They brought him over. They thought he'd be Ash Can and Dustbin. Is that what you're asking?
What is that?
Okay, this is where we sorted the Nazis after World War II.
So was he a collaborator?
Well, he was used. So Nelson, Rockefeller, and Dulles were in charge of intelligence over there, and then Kissinger's working for American assets to help sort out which Nazis are the good Nazis.
That's right.
So that they could do like the Odessa network and these sort of things. And here's Kissinger. Right.
Colonia, Barbie, Todd that ended up down there.
Otto Skorzeny, the Paladin Group.
Don't forget Mengele they brought over. I mean, it doesn't get a lot of press, but they absolutely brought Mengele here.
For sure.
You can see the trail of his handiwork through the United States. That's where they probably sprayed them chemicals on them black kids in St. Louis. I'll bet you that's a Dr. Mengele project because he would have went through there.
I mean, the things that they did in Nazi Germany were not because German people wanted to do those things, but because Anglo-American establishment people wanted the results from those experiments and couldn't do them themselves. They couldn't. So they had Unit 731 in Japan, and they figure out like, oh, what happens if you put a human arm in liquid nitrogen?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Right. All that shit. And then the Nazis had theirs, and then they brought that stuff back. And you had people like Albertus Strughold, who's a Nazi, and he's in NASA helping to make sure that Gary Powers has a flight suit so his blood doesn't boil.
Oh, so Deborah Jaffe was saying, so her dad was banging Gary Powers' wife because Gary Powers was a homo at the time. And he was supposed to have killed himself when he got captured, but he didn't. And I was like, how did they kill themselves? And she showed me on the website, it was like a coin that had a thin needle in it with cyanide. That's how you'd kill yourself if you were caught. You had a quarter with a needle in it. Nick Reiner was pro-Palestinian. His parents were Zionists. they disagreed about the genocide going on in stolen Palestine. Well, I mean, it seems like it was. I bet they disagreed about mouth kisses from Daddy a little bit more, if I had to guess.
Well, and then
He
there
didn't
was
go to
another.
rehab 18 times because of Palestine. You know, if you know, bottom line, like I think 100% all them when in 2007 when the Star Child emails were on Reddit, where it's kind of a honey trap for Hollywood kids to talk about what had happened to them, because the chick from One Day at a Time had written the book about the mamas and the papas guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Named all these names, and she had an ongoing.
Not Valerie Bertinelli. She married Eddie Van Halen. It was
but
the other chick. Yeah, and her dad was John from Mamas and the
on her
Papas.
wedding night,
pedo.
she's banging her dad, and like, and that. But if you hear about Tatum O'Neal and her dad and all the shit, dude, they were all. It's all the most warped shit you've ever heard, and that's just the stuff that's public. But go ahead and imagine what's not public, and you're right. So that's the shit. That's why they're so good with making their children into a galley of Kybell. You know, having your kid chop his dick off and fucking be a fake woman. That's why they're all, oh, that's great. Because they're fucking demonic, dude. Like, I can't even believe what I believe now. I can't even believe the shit that I got dog walked back to because of how demonic these people are. But they truly are. There's just nothing there, man. And I think a bunch of them are like they have some kind of astral parasite on them that gets bored of them when they can't provide it with a high no more and jumps around. You know, like that FLDS fat guy that found Warren Jeff's diary and then comes back a hero with all them wives because he learned the secrets of running a sex cult. And I think Warren Jeff went catatonic and stopped speaking to everybody. That's in the fucking documentary. So I think the demon jumped from him to the other guy because it was bored. I really do. He's reading a diary, which is like reading sigils. That area is under a principality, especially these Mormons went to places with heavy native shit, you know? In fact, a lot of them, who's that guy? Is it Leavitt? The guy that the DA that he fled to England, but the guy that was trying to procure children in exchange for selling bison to Ukraine. And then he had a press conference to announce he's not a satanic cannibal to get ahead of it. Oh, dude, it's amazing. Jasmine Noor has this video about it that's very good. Noor. I think her first name's Jasmine, but she has a great video because I was like, "What? This is insane." It's in Utah. And Brandy Zadrozny, the bitch from the misinformation bitch from whatever paper or who she works for, she fucking was real big on trying to downplay this weird story in Utah. Why? Like, why would she be? She's a big Russiagate or a big Jimmy Dore's bad fucking fake reporter. But she kept bringing up, evoking the satanic panic. Oh, no, there might be a satanic panic. Well, listen, Brandy, you albino bitch from Vermont, I think you're a fucking witch. And I think that's what all scumbag witches do every time this shit comes up. And it always comes up because you fuckers keep doing this shit. So I think it might be time to panic. I think maybe it's now the time to panic because you're fucking gross.
I mean, people like that would claim blood libel, but another group already claimed such a term.
Oh, Brandy Zadrozny, it looks like Edgar fucking Winter, Johnny Winter's blind albino brother. She is gross. Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Shut up, you Vermont Frankie's bit. I'm full of I'm a little cranky tonight. I'm gonna be
That's
honest.
all right. We were talking about Edgar Winter with Q&A, with graduation lecture the other night. So that's good synchronicity. Let's take 5-minute break, maybe 8 minutes. We're gonna watch this clip. I got it queued up over here. Colby's gonna play it. This is Gad Sad talking with. He makes Piers Morgan look reasonable in this situation
and handsome. Did his nose come with his glasses? Sad get.
He's got he's got the Groucho Marx upgrade kit coming.
That's why I don't wear glasses. I would have. I mean, I'm not quite Gad Sad, you know.
I'm interested in why Gad Sad would go so far out of his way.
The same reason Israel kills its own hostages. The same reason, because people not going to the Arab that are Jews are more dangerous than me or you.
Did you and Jimmy cover that Ben Gavir clip from 10/7, the secret tape where he says turn off the cameras? He says you guys aren't filming, right?
But we might have not covered it last week. But I've been sending it around to people because it's so infuriating.
Yeah, I gotta find.
I've been talking about the Hannibal Directive thing. I had band T-shirts made of it that I wear. So and people go, what's that?
The Hannibal Directive is a t-shirt offering. I want to make sure. All right, so I got to find this Ben Gavir clip. Let's go to the Piers Morgan show. This is Gad Sad talking smack on Gabor Mate, a Holocaust survivor.
We never hear
Well,
about
you know what? It's you know the answer? Per capita, Gad. I'm surprised you haven't worked that one out. Because there are 2 billion Muslims. It's per capita, my friend. It's your argument. Let me now throw it back at you. It's simply because there are more Muslims. So therefore, per capita, they're going to be committing more of these crimes. Do you agree with that?
No, because Hindus also make up roughly, maybe not a quarter of the world's population, but certainly a sizable amount. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if we look at per capita, we would find that there's only one group that misinterprets their religious edicts into committing terror attacks, into raping women, and so on. There's something unique about how we read Islamic texts that always makes us mistranslate, misinterpret, misunderstand the beautiful, noble text in exactly the same direction for the past 1400 years. It's a real mystery.
Well, I think there are extremists, Muslims, as there are any religion, and extremism of any kind should be condemned, and they should be susceptible to the same law as everybody else. And I've always felt that. Let me just mention something you wrote in your book about Gabor Mate. Now, the full disclosure, we wanted you to debate with him. You don't like to do debates. Out of interest, why don't you like doing debates?
That's a great question. I'm always happy to debate someone if a priori I feel that both parties could potentially have some means of being swayed away from their anchored position if the appropriate evidence were presented to them, right? So for example, as an evolutionist, I don't debate young earth creationists, not because I'm an elitist, lofty guy who can't be bothered debating, but I know for a fact that there is no amount of evolutionary information that I could offer them to make them say, oh, you know what, Professor Saad, in light of what you just said, I've now changed my opinion. So there is nothing that I could ever share with Dr. Mate that would ever alter his opinions, and therefore it's a futile exercise. That's why I love speaking to you one-on-one, because you're such a charismatic guy.
Well, thank you for your false flattery. But I mean, just full disclosure, Gabor Mate is listening to this debate. And the reason for that is that you dedicate 2 pages in your new book to him.
Yes, sir.
And so we thought we'd talk to him after you. I mean, I'd have preferred to have had you chat to each other, because you do whack him in the book. You say this: Gabor Mate is a Canadian physician who has built a self-help empire on the back of his supposed empathetic and compassionate handling of patients who suffer from addiction. He argues that at the root of addiction is childhood trauma, but he goes much further by purporting that countless diseases are rooted in this singular explanation. This reminds me of Freudian psychoanalytical quackery, wherein all psychological disorders had their ultimate genesis in sexual repression, or the hysteria of the repressed memories movement. And you also go on to say that Dr. Mate, who was raised Jewish in Nazi-occupied Hungary, was a former Zionist who's since become a prominent critic of Israeli policy. You say this: Mate's infinite well of intergenerational empathy does not apply to Jews, though. He knows, as a Holocaust survivor, and you put the word survivor in quotation marks, what true trauma is, and he never fails to remind the world that the Palestinians are suffering a genocide at the hands of the Nazi-like Israelis. There is nothing noble about the Mate duo. Aaron, his son, is also a regular guest on Uncensored. They are uninformed fools engaging in malignant narcissism, masquerading as infinite compassion. Now, you may not want to debate with him, but that's pretty full-on attack against this guy. He's listening to this. I mean, do you stand by the rhetoric you've used there?
Yes, I was actually trying to be charitable and nice in that quote that you kindly read. Look,
really?
Gabor Mate, yeah, oh yeah. I don't use words flippantly, right? So if my words are going to be immortalized in my book, if I say what I mean and I mean what I say. Gabor Mate is a Holocaust survivor in that when he was 6 months old, he was passed on to another family to be protected. But to say that you're a survivor when you're a 6 months infant is like arguing that I too am a Holocaust survivor because I was a spermatozoa in my dad's testicles in the 1940s. A 6 months old infant is not cognizant of the reality around them. So there's no meaningful way by which he can then argue that because I'm a Holocaust survivor that suffered at the hands of the Nazis, I could tell you that the IDF is infinitely worse than it's a rhetorical device that is being used to justify his position. So it's in that sense.
What age? Okay, but what age would he need to be then for you to accept that he's a Holocaust survivor?
It will be at the age at which your cognitive development would entitle your memory to have traces.
Well, give me an age.
Well, it varies across people, but typically most people, their earliest memory will go typically at around age 3 or 4. So a 6-month-old infant has no knowledge of what happened to him during the Holocaust.
And there can be no impact of what happened on somebody of that age. Because I would absolutely dispute that. I mean, terrible things happen to people when they're incredibly young babies or 1 or 2, whatever. And of course it can have a massive material effect on them. Of course he will have discovered what happened with his family, with the Holocaust, realities and so on. You know, so I just don't understand what the upside is for you in diminishing his claim to be a Holocaust survivor, albeit he was extremely young. I mean, why shouldn't he be able to have had massive impact from that?
I'm not questioning the fact that he could look back at his his family's history and feel pain at what happened to him. My concern is in using that narrative for nefarious reasons to then justify why you have the authority and imprimatur to say that as a Holocaust survivor, I can tell you that the IDF are no different than the Nazis. It's in the intent of using that narrative. Pierce, as you know, I went through horrors as an 11-year-old child in Lebanon that, you know, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies. I do remember all of those incidents. I was 11 years old, but I don't use my victimology narrative, my true victimology narrative, to then espouse certain positions that are rooted in the fact you have to believe me because I'm a childhood war refugee. My position stands...
Well, yeah, but is it... Well, hang on. In a way, you just have. I mean, in a way, you've just cited that for viewers who may not have been aware of that. And therefore, that obviously forms the backdrop to your opinions. I mean, I don't really see a lot of difference. I mean, you've just said that you went through terrible things in Lebanon. Of course, that is going to inform your view of issues in the Middle East. Of course it is. In the same way that what happened to Dr. Mate is going to inform his views. The fact that your views, you know, don't concur with each other, well, that's what happens in democratic society. You know, and I'm just surprised that you would be so willing to dismiss his right to lean on his background, his experience from his family's perspective, albeit he was very young, just to dismiss it as almost fake. I mean, when you put the word survivor in quotation marks, you're kind of saying it's not real.
No. So again, I don't know if we need to debate Gabor Mate for the whole show, but if that's what you want to do, that's perfectly fine. I'm not.
Well, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk to him directly?
No, I don't. You can talk to him after, and he can discuss with you why I'm so wrong. But I don't believe that he doesn't have the right to say whatever he wants. As you said, in a free society, Holocaust deniers should be free to espouse their nonsense. I mean, I'm genuinely a free speech absolutist. So I'm not questioning his right to espouse anything that he wants. All I'm questioning is the manipulative intent of saying that because I'm a Holocaust survivor, you should listen to me when I tell you that the IDF are indistinguishable from the Nazis. That's the only thing that I'm criticizing here. I wish him well. I implored what happened to his family. So that's, I mean, I don't have to justify how horrible the Holocaust is, right? But what I'm saying is I have memory of the trauma I went through. My parents were kidnapped by Fatah in
All
1980
right, go
when
ahead,
I was
pause him.
15. So I have the right.
Oh my God, he's the
sounds
worst,
like-
dude.
Sounds like he needs therapy from Gabor Mate for his victim mentality.
First of all, of course he survived the Holocaust. It doesn't matter he's 6 months old. That's not the same as he literally said, claiming to be you survived as a baby, which I'm pretty sure legally you exist when you're a baby, even if there's real liberal abortion laws in your area. I think once you exist, once you're outside, you do exist, right? Yeah. So because that's the same as me saying I was a sperm in my father's fucking balls. It's a little different though, because he was a 6-month-old baby though, Gad. And also, Gad keep bringing up his Lebanese shit like anybody cares. Go back to fucking Canada. I'm so sick of these fucking. Yo, Gavin McGinnis and Sad Gad are the same motherfucker. Need to go the fuck back to Canada. Get the fuck out. You fucking. Oh, anyway.
So he was
stinks.
taken aback because Gabor compared the IDF to the Nazis. Apparently, that's what he was saying there. At
No,
end,
the
right?
Nazis occasionally observed some rules of war. Occasionally they did. They were really bad, and they were on meth a lot, but they sometimes. And I think the Nazis didn't kill their own guys on purpose to cover. You know, I think they didn't have that rule, and I think the Nazis didn't have a Samson option.
Yeah. So wait a minute.
You take to go with the baby.
Wait a minute. So the Nazis had like neonatal units, and they were had birth centers and nurseries. I thought they were trying to exterminate everybody.
They're not, dude. He's such a fucking twat, that guy. But he's an obvious some kind of agent. Avi Loeb's not a professor. He's a fucking Mossad. Whatever the fuck Sad Gad is, I don't even know if he's Mossad. He could be like, you know, just some asset of them. But he probably is. From that conflict,
he might be a volunteer. He might just do it for free.
He comes off like a volunteer fireman. My friend Rich Voss, who's an arch Zionist, but he can't spell too good. I love his pro Zionism. I guess I fully support Rich Voss's Zionism. It's some of the greatest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like he went on Joe Rogan's and he took out a map, like a folded map, and Rogan's like, "What do you have a map?" And he goes, "Look at this, Joe." And then you know what his amazing point was? How small Israel is on the map. You know that fucking argument fucking finisher. And then he just put up a new list Bobby Kelly showed me, and he fucking misspelled half it was all like contributions of Israel. Some nonsense, and it's all spelled wrong. Fucking beautiful.
We covered that in episode 231, a lazy old trope. There's the transcript. I could pull up the clip here on the Clip Genie, and I should tweet this. Let's see. Let me figure out if I can use Clip Genie.
Lazy old trope. That's I think Bonnie has called Rich that, and I don't approve of it. I like them to, you know, have an even keel to their marriage.
Well, the even keel is how you keep it from capsizing into
She's
a
Canadian.
not so lazy trope.
Well, listen, Rich is a funny dude, but people I've known for years, like you watch them, either they're going to be irrationally. That's some of the strongest like golemization of a human I've ever seen is Israel shit. I mean, people lose all rationality. I've watched it a million times. It's not all Jews. You know, it kind of goes. There's kind of like two ways it goes. There'll be like, you know, the Jews who are going to tell you, like your Finkelsteins, are going to just tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth as far as he knows it, you know? And then there's going to be that fucking, I don't know, Yankees baseball, Zionist, New York fucking horse shit. I don't know how else to describe it. Where you have like a team mentality no matter what. You know?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be like football loyalty.
Well,
Well, program you to be a fucking retard as team sports.
Well, it's a way of programming people so that they would support genocide and ethnic cleansing and go on Joe Rogan and pull up a map and say it's just simple.
And the same breath, these assholes. By the way, same breath, they tell you how ruthless Israel is and how they'll fucking kill anyone and anything. Oh yeah, they're ruthless, and then go, no, they didn't do that. You just got done telling me that these are the most fucking moral-free soldiers, because they have to be. Because everyone hates them because they suck. I love the cycle of that, of like, when everybody hates it. Well, it's because you're the worst neighbor that has ever existed. That's why.
Well, I love how On July 22nd, 1946, the King David Hotel was hit by 2 airplanes with hijackers who had box cutters.
I didn't know the box cutter part. That's interesting. Wait a minute. That was a false flag, though.
No, but the July 22nd date from the historic King David Hotel bombing that created Israel's estate is also the same July 22nd date on which they listed the 9/11 Commission report, which obviously served our greatest ally, who's not mentioned in there. I think it's Country C sometimes mentioned, but they're not responsible.
What do they
for
say about
anything.
Country C?
Well, Country C, as reported by Fox News back in the day, conducts the heaviest surveillance against America's pre 9/11 using systems like Comverse and what was the other one? There's another company that they used that sat in the middle of all telecommunications traffic. It was very much like what Robert Maxwell sold to the Justice Department as promised software with the back door. Yeah. Just command and control of a nation state.
Great. Every part of this becomes better than the last part. I mean, it really is something else. I'm gonna start calling him Country C now, though, regularly. That's another T-shirt, Country C, and then dude, that's hilarious, Country C. Like, dude, remember the dancing Israelis that they go, well, there's no proof they were Mossad, whatever, but they were.
Well, and they said we have the same enemy, is what they said. Your problem is our problem.
It's weird to dance like, because if you recall, after 9/11, they showed us pictures of Muslims dancing joyously that we got hit on 9/11, and that was grounds to go blow them the fuck up, wasn't it? Because they were dancing, and I think that was fake footage that wasn't real. Also, by the way, that was given us by our Israeli friends.
I mean, everybody's dancing. They gave us the intel on the weapons of mass destruction too. It's a slam dunk, said the CIA director.
It was like some poll I saw recently from like a cat turd level account where it was like, what's the biggest threat to America? Russia, Iran, or something else? And everyone was like 95% something else. Country C, baby.
Oh, cat turd. Who could have thought that cat turd?
I don't know if it was cat turd. I'm just saying it was like a cat, somebody in the
cat turd. There's all the anti-woke accounts, and all of a sudden they switch to like, you should be mad at the Muzzies. How about that new I gotta call you. I'm gonna text Uwe Boll and get him on my show because he made that Army Hammer movie. You seen that?
Yeah, I got that clip coming up. Actually, it's right there. I think it's the 3rd link down on X, Colby. Click that open.
Let's admit your religion is not compatible with the West. He's got a scene like that, right? Or I'll fucking eat your family.
Oh wait. Yeah, if Colby,
okay, I want to ask Uwe this for real because I had him on my old podcast and he was very enjoyable to talk to. He'd become.
What else did he make?
Every bad video game movie that people were mad about, and he offered to box his critics. And a guy named Richard Lotax, who was founded 8chan, fought him, took him up on the fight, and got the shit kicked out of him by Uwe Boll because Uwe Boll really boxes. Again, I don't see how this addresses the initial dispute, but whatever. So I brought it up to him, like, how does that settle? Does he have to say your movies are good now, like, because you beat him? I mean, that's fine. Wakanda rules is cool with me, but anyway, this reeks of, and I cannot wait to see this movie. This movie looks boring. Citizen
Colby, this is the movie he's talking about. Can you bring that clip up and just play whatever this trailer is for this new movie?
This is the Mel Brooks one. By the way, everybody, Mel Gibson is not. Yeah, Mel Brooks.
He's not in this. This is a fake
this is
AI
far
trailer.
Away
Someone fixed
Mel
it.
Gibson
Someone
and Mel
fixed
Brooks. Wait, but Mel Gibson is one of them pre-Vatican II retard narcissist Catholics. I don't know why people act like he's some hero. That Sound of Freedom.
His dad Hunter. Do you ever hear his dad Hunter Gibson, like on Alex Jones 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Gibson and Colonel Dom de Grand Prix, who wrote a book called Barbarians at the Gate. And in there, it talked about Lieutenant Colonel Rick Gibney of whatever squadron shooting down Flight 93.
Okay, well,
Hutton Gibson.
Sound of Freedom. Remember that scam movie, The Sound of Freedom? Which is a fucking lie. I think that's a Scientologist, the scumbag that ran the fake fucking thing, who got his dumb face on everything, and got the guy who played Jesus. You know,
Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel, that poor program Luciferian fucking mind fuck toy. Yo, they're part of that 7 rays the thing General Flynn's into, and McChrystal's into. They're into some bad shit. All of them are into bad shit. I don't trust Mel fucking Gibson. First of all, you left your fucking wife, Mr. Tradcath over here, leaves his wife. He didn't feel he had a spiritual connection to go with some Russian whore that he's losing his mind at on a tape. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was my summer jam that voicemail.
It's right
Don't
up
get me
there with
wrong, I
David
support-
Hasselhoff.
I
asking for a
support how
burger.
he abused that woman because of Ukraine. So I'm gonna write side history with that. But dude, that Sound of Freedom is such a vile scam, and I should have immediately known it was a scam because, first of all, the Department of Homeland Security was stopping child trafficking. So there's your first clue. The second one is that it's all outside America, in the South American countries where they're bad, not here. The biggest consumers of, human slaves, us. You'd be doing all your work here if it was real. Anyway, he's some Scientologist fuck, so that means CIA cut out yet again. And the whole thing was a scam. They were luring poor sex workers in and making up these narratives around this grand trafficking thing, but none of that was true. It was practically Sacha Baron Cohen-esque what he was doing, like a prank. We had the guy on Jimmy's show talking about it, and he was a big believer that found out. And this motherfucker, there's some woman they depict as she's in charge of it. She's been harassed for years by this scumbag, and she did nothing. Yeah.
And that doesn't seem like it's unusual in that milieu, in that coterie.
Dude,
of Kabbalists.
I want to know why Laura Logan's friends with General Flynn. As soon as I hear General Flynn, I like the Magical Mystery Church channel, even though it could be a little boring sometimes. But the lady is like good at finding that NAR shit. Most people don't know when you say NAR. Well, I met a NAR person at Mothership, some dude who grew up in it. I couldn't believe it. Talk about synchronicity, and he talked all about it. But they're real creeps, dude. They're like, well, I mean, it's like imagine everything that ever annoyed you about prosperity gospel mixed with Jewish settlers attitude. Like, we got to go and fucking make everybody do this, and basically God doesn't do shit. You do all the work, and it's obviously you're going to be doing like Old Testament shit, if you know what I mean. They're real fucking scummy, dude. All of them are into grave soaking. You know what that is?
No, what is grave soaking?
Oh, it's
Never
part of
thought I'd ask
Kabbalah.
that.
That's where you could lay on the grave of a righteous man and absorb some of his righteous body thetans, I guess. That was an old Talmudic practice. Kabbalah, they do it. And then, wouldn't you know it, this stupid fucking church out of Kansas City, these motherfuckers do it. So all that Kabbalistic Babylonian black magic. That's why when you'd watch these church services, because I would obsessively watch,
Joel Osteen?
No, he sucks. Like Creflo Dollar. I want to see their moves.
Creflo Dollar. I couldn't remember. I couldn't believe that guy's name was Creflo Dollar.
What a
He's
brilliant
on there raising money. Like
what a
there's
brilliant
no
dark
cliche
occult
at all.
move.
What?
Dude,
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's a brilliant black magic fucking Twilight language move. You fucking come in as can I Creflo a dollar, my brother? You come in like that with that name, and it's like you had this mountain you had to overcome already. Because he talked about it. He already, it was hard coming in with a name like Creflo Dollar. People are going to say, oh, boy.
Well, that's his real name. I can't make fun of it as per my rule 4 hours ago. But if it's a chosen stage name, I can make fun of it.
Like Netanyahu?
Well, I can make fun of, Jon Stewart because his name's Larry Leibovitz, or John Leibovitz because his brother runs the NASDAQ, Larry Leibovitz.
Jon Stewart's brother runs NASDAQ?
Back in the day.
Well, that's weird because John seemed like he was sick of these Wall Street hijinks.
I know. He had me convinced. I took Project Constellation to his green room when he was here at the Bushnell Theater performing. And I was like, I know how to talk my way backstage, and I'm delivering a package. And, he had the chance to put it.
What is Project Constellation? I don't even know what that is.
Oh, long time ago, Kurt, in a galaxy far away, I was trying to spread the knowledge of maybe it wasn't hijackers with box cutters. And I had a message. It was like I wrote it out. It was like 30 pages. I was like TLDR, even though that didn't exist then. I knew it was too long for people to read.
I was going to say too long didn't read, right? When you said
I made 2 45-minute like audio CDs that someone could just throw in their car and listen to it while they're driving, because I figured that's the way people would consume it.
Yeah, he doesn't know nothing.
And
there's one guy that used to write there that knew all the stuff. That guy would have been the guy to send it to, not John. Yeah. He's a fucking face.
Yeah. And so I had sent it to, like, I thought maybe Larry Flint, because he's the paradigm of free speech back then, and he had a lawsuit against Rumsfeld. Yeah. I got a fucking cease and desist from Larry Flint.
Well, he was a pedophile himself. Yeah. Larry was a piece of shit himself. Really amazing that he buddied up with the Clintons after battling that. He probably got shot in his back because of the Kennedy shit, is my guess. But that Larry Flint's one of them. Hey, they control both sides of the aisle,
So a year later, he did publish a whole bunch of 9/11 information, but it was David Ray Griffin, and started talking about the corporate connections and the international connections that go to international intelligence agencies. And that was what I was trying to get out. So finally, in 2006, on Memorial Day, there was a woman who had a radio show. She still does. Her name's Maria Heller. And she took this recording that I'd sent to her, because she did a really good interview with several people. And I was like, I'll send it to her. And then she just published it. So I didn't self-publish on the internet. Someone else took what I had produced and put it out there. And then the next day I got doxxed. And then about a month later, I launched my podcast, and that was 20 years ago this year. So, yeah, there's been a lot that's happened along the way.
Dude, a lot of people got burned for
AIG.
For that, the 9/11 thing. And to this day, like Burmis is still fucking, they suppress his shit to this fucking day.
Yeah, well, dude, even on X right now, I only have 128 views on this stream.
Yeah, you'll be
there was 4,000 last week, but some reason this week we're not getting any views.
No, you've probably been on a list for a while, and a bunch of whack jobs that I know have like taken your class. So you and people I believe, when I say whack jobs, I mean like I believe them. I'm just saying their stories are fucking batshit, but I'm batshit now, so it's fine with me. But you've been in contact with even more than I've been in contact with, so you're gonna get some suppression for sure.
That's all right. I think it's par for the course. I think the people who want to find it and listen to it, they find it and listen to it. But it's not for everybody anyway.
I promote Rabbi Grove
attention
everywhere.
span and self-respect.
Yeah, right. I promote this course everywhere. In fact, I'm gonna. Oh shit, I gotta go, dude. I didn't realize what time it is. I gotta go.
Right on. Let me plug your stuff. You can find Kurt Metzger on kurtmetzgercomedy.com. You can follow him.
I gotta
over on
redo
X.
that website. Stinks. Go, but
that's okay.
Yeah,
you're over here. Look,
Instagram, my YouTube, Mystery Boys, Derp with Kurt. You know. Did you see
he's
that?
on episode 5 or 6 of Mystery Boys, and yeah, catch Derp with Kurt. And Kurt, it was definitely fun hanging out tonight. Thanks for
man.
time.
Thanks for having me. Later, guys.
America 250.
Peace out, Kurt. Thanks, man.
Hey, meds for all, guys. Come on. Bye, guys.
I've dealt with a variety of fears over the years by facilitating a growth mindset and an anti-fragile mentality. I've learned from mistakes that you haven't even conceived of yet. Now, I can't do it for you, but I can share the resources, the methods, the tools, and inspiration for you to learn how to do it for yourself. And it really is worth learning how to do for yourself, because it's a lifelong beneficial skill. It's evergreen. It's never going to tarnish. You're always going to use this. If you're interested in learning more, I host a podcast every Sunday night. We analyze the week's news and help you have non-contradictory views you actually understand, but you've got to come along for the ride and process the news with us so you have that understanding. I also teach adults twice a year in a 12-week course called Autonomy that is aimed at resolving all the problems I just pointed out with the school system and the irrational fears and the replacement of the rites of passage and the methods you need to have a skeleton key in life and a Swiss Army knife, so you can have the tools and the access to do whatever you need to do in this world to bring your goals, to bring your dreams and map them to a truthful reality. It is a simple process, but it is not for those who cling to their irrational fears. So I hope if we have lowered the barrier to entry today, if you see a future you that is more realistic and in detail and something you want to strive toward, I recommend you go to getautonomy.info. Check out the offer as far as what we do for people. I want you to know it applies to you. You can learn it. I can teach it. So I want to thank you all for your time and attention. Peace. Who's going to be first off the mute this morning?
I'm glad that I have this course now more than ever. Having a community of people to discuss how to be empowered and autonomous is really necessary and also therapeutic. I'm this much scared about the virus and a lot scared of what's coming down the pipe as a result.
All right, so first off, we're going to get you away from that fear and that stress that I'm sensing. And I want to get you into the practicality of exercising the conversations you're going to need to have.
Have you found that your skills aren't matching up with the challenges ahead? Here are 19 essential skills for success that school never taught you. Get your free copy by following the link below or visit getautonomy.info/19skills.